you coward.
Should be there. It's on Twitter.
I'm a weapon. Woo!
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
That's a way to
heaven.
Got a second one.
All right. Oh, and I love hammocks.
Yeah, right?
It looks so cozy.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Could have a lot of fun in there.
Fucking
Them some
God!
abs. Holy moly.
Fucking ripped! Jesus Christ! Give me like 2 minutes with that. Man! Lord Almighty.
Yep.
God bless cosplay. God bless fake character designers for this one thing.
And Reen.
Right. yeah. Like, those are the only two things I care about. Well, Astolfo as well. So, 3 things. We got
wow, that's 3 whole things, huh?
3 whole things that... Yeah. Like I said, I remember thinking that one girl was from Final Fantasy XIV for like 2 years. Nobody would ever say her name. Nobody would ever say what she was from. They would only like call her Purpley. Like, what are you fucking... Like, Purpley pulls up nothing. Whatever, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I still don't know who you're talking about, actually.
It's the dark-skinned, purple-haired girl like that wears almost nothing.
Here, I'll post a.
You will know her the moment you see the picture. I guarantee it.
There she is.
You've seen this character.
All right, they're DM'd.
All right. Oh, did you just send it to Rhett?
No, to both of you.
Okay.
Experiencing Twitter lag.
Yeah, I got a little bit of Twitter. Her. Yeah. It's called Girls Talk, Rhett. Yes, it's a podcast. Welcome, everybody. Quit getting mad at fate.
The Girls Talk podcast.
It's a Girls Talk podcast.
Where we talk about girls.
I listened to this album I literally finished a re-listen to this album 20 minutes ago, Poncho.
I ate too much sandwich meat before the podcast, y'all.
Uh-oh.
I made a mistake.
What kind of sandwich?
Do you get that, like, really, that just good, like, plain sliced turkey that's,
God,
really salty and tasty? I just, like, got a thing of that because I hadn't had it in ages, and then I just kind of sat at my couch after getting home, and I was like, oh, I'll just have a couple of these.
See, my weakness is really thinly sliced and then piled on ham with like just a smidge of a honey taste to it. It is very dangerous if I get myself a hold of some of that, which is why I don't buy it often.
Yeah, if I have ham cut, nice sliced ham, honey ham even, in the fridge, then I'm just opening the fridge.
It's done. Yeah,
pulling
like
off a slice.
Anytime I go to the fridge, it's just this is not healthy. This is not going to work for me.
Guess what? It's ham time.
It's ham. Yeah, exactly. Like, what time is it? It's ham o'clock.
Turkey's healthier, right?
Turkey
is better for me.
You're probably right. You're probably doing way better than you would be with honey ham, I think.
It's turkey's probably the healthiest. It's still eating giant amounts of sliced salted meat.
Right.
But then ham is less healthy than that, and then salami, I'll go through a bunch of that too. And it's
like I need like if I'm gonna eat salami, it needs to be like top grade shit, like deli kind of sliced stuff. I'm not buying any
salami stick.
I'm not buying prepackaged garbage. When it comes to salami, like I have to have like just nice, good ass salami.
You don't fuck around with salami.
I don't. No, like my salami game is top tier. Believe me.
Excellent.
Rhett's is
we were
too.
We were just talking about Astolfo.
That's my line.
Yeah, Rhett, come on, get your head in the game.
Oh, my head is somewhere else right now.
Your head is in the palm of your hand right now.
Damn it.
Laughing at my own dumb joke. And with that, welcome one and all to Sockscast episode 137. This is what was that?
That number just keeps getting bigger.
It's that. Rhett, do you want me to just start counting down from now on?
Oh no, that sounds ominous.
Yeah, we just start counting backwards and not mention it from now on.
D-meter, 97%.
Like Sayara would be relieved because he doesn't draw. He wouldn't have to draw arts anymore. Like we just
use the old.
We'll
ones.
just use the old ones. We'll just start counting backwards. We'll have the same. We'll have
-1.
We'll have the same guests on that we had. Maybe skip a couple. You know who you are. That's ominous. It makes me sound way shitty, doesn't it?
No, that's fine.
I'm a fucking monster. Welcome everybody. We talk about meat. We talk about Rhett's meat. It's just great. It's a great show as always.
Wholesome good times.
We always have good times here. To my immediate virtual right. He's here to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. It's Rhett.
Hello.
Hey. How's it going, Meat Man?
Meat Man is ready for meat.
I love how you're like the vegetarian of the show. So
there's that too. That's why I was actually tuned out during the meat discussion because I'm just like I don't relate to any of this.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure whether to feel bad. Like it's
fine.
Like is me and John just talking about scarfing down this disgusting fucking meat products? Like is Rhett sitting there literally gagging and like he's got his mic muted?
I'm very used to it.
Okay, good.
So we talk about like having just a big stick of salami and just like biting into it without even like slicing it, and then you get like strings of fat stuck in your teeth.
Yes!
Okay, now you're.
Man, get the floss ready. It's fine. That's all you got to do.
It's fine. Just have the floss ready.
Get the floss ready.
Sockscast. Get the floss ready.
Get the floss ready. I'm gonna make that the new header for the podcast website instead of like whatever it is now. I'm gonna make that get the floss ready. That's gonna be the new thing from now on.
Perfect.
To my immediate virtual left, he's as cool as a cucumber in a bowl of hot sauce. It's John Thayer.
Hi.
Hey. How's it going?
I'm doing well.
Doing well.
It's sunny out. It's 80 degrees. I've took a long hot bath earlier. Mm-hmm. Just kind of at peace. Just like woke up in a kind of a bad mood, and then I've arrived.
Then you remembered. You remembered you were going to have a podcast about meat with your best friends.
Yep. And that was just like, oh yeah, that'll be nice.
And Jesus took that frown and turned it upside down.
Also, the hot bath.
The hot
baths really help.
They're really nice. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much because of the hot water or so much an excuse to just put down electronics for an hour.
That's also
I think
good.
A little bit of both.
I would take a hot bath, but I got a leaky faucet in the bathtub. I probably got to get like that. Yeah, it doesn't seem bad. It's just one of the hot water thingy. I think it's just kind of like I think it needs like a gasket replaced or something. But I got to look at that tomorrow or have a plumber come look at it. That'll cost me way more money than I want to pay. So what can you do?
What can you do?
Say love.
It's to get hot baths.
Exactly.
That's the point.
I got to get that
it's worth
back.
It.
Like, yeah. That's what you do. That's what you do. But we're ready to podcast. Everybody in the chat's ready for us to podcast. Whoever downloaded this, all one of you. Hi, Dawn. They're ready. They're ready for us to get a podcast going. So, Rhett.
Jeez.
Why don't you
me on the spot.
just get us going? We're going in high gear.
Fuck
today.
yeah.
Let's just go right into it. No breaks,
fucking
baby.
around. We're just doing it.
Exactly, just doing it. You get in there.
Just do it.
We're fucking professionals. This is what we do.
What are you waiting for?
You to shut up.
All right, I'll shut up.
Whoa!
I'll shut.
Did you guys hear that
right
goose?
now?
Yeah, I heard that goose right now. We unfortunately do have a goose problem. A goose jumps into our Discord calls from time to time. They jump in on my stream sometimes too, and it's just, well, you just kind of learn to deal with it.
We're the NPCs in Goose Game now. We gotta reset our routine.
Yeah.
And you made that joke right when I was in the middle of doing I'm going to cause problems on purpose joke. Like, let's do overtalk on purpose on a podcast. That's good humor. Go for it, Rhett.
I finished Yakuza 6.
Hey, how'd that go?
Uh-oh. I like this game, but there's no other way to say it, in that this is probably my least favorite Yakuza game. It's just, I've played a lot of them, and this one, it's kind of basic in some ways and kind of just a story letdown in others. And it's frustrating when they're like, building it up as like the conclusion to the Kiryu saga.
Oh, that makes it sting quite a bit more.
Yeah. That's the thing, is when they put a little hype behind it, and it's like making it almost seem like you have to play all the previous ones to play it, and then you really don't.
Yeah.
So, because all the Yakuza games, like, the stories are like largely super independent of each other's, besides a few recurring characters. Like, most connection is probably between 0 and 1 because they wrote 0 after the fact.
Yeah.
So they were able to not like entirely wipe the cast between games because they had to leave certain characters alive for 1.
Yeah.
Because that one was already written and set in stone. But then by the end of 1, it's like, yep, we've basically killed everybody by the end of this game.
But Kiryu has done none of said killing.
Oh no, he definitely never kills anybody, except for that one guy that he used as a human shield in 2. There's some clip that goes around online of like, Kiryu never kills anybody, and then it's like somebody pulls a gun on Kiryu and he just grabs like a waiter and holds him up in front of him and lets that guy get shot instead. Like, yep, Kiryu, it's trolley problem. It's like, okay, did Kiryu kill this guy by grabbing him, or did the guy with the gun kill this guy? And it's like, well, Kiryu definitely caused that guy to die, but he didn't pull the trigger.
He's not the one that did it. Like, that would be manslaughter? Would that be manslaughter?
I don't know.
It's the E.G. pacifist route logic, where you reflect everybody's bullets at them and they die.
There you go.
See, if the gunman was the one who, if that happened, like, I would not blame Kiryu, but because he got a third person involved. Anyways, the stories are largely independent of each other, and like, 5 I played a long time ago because I played 4 and 5 before all the prequel ones. 5 felt like it was kind of building to something, and then 6 doesn't really follow through on a lot of that. And it's also, so it was the debut of their new Dragon engine, and I've played other games in it since then. Like Kiwami 2 and Judgment use it. So this was the first attempt, and it's a lot more stripped down compared to what they did in some of those other games where it's like, oh, there's way less heat actions in this game. That's not like a huge bummer, but like just everything is a little, version 1, and I've played, the newer games than this one. So it's
not enough press triangle to cool.
There really isn't, honestly. That's
extremely valid.
Yeah. But I think kind of my main problem with this one is just kind of overall where the story went, in that a whole lot of it is Kiryu kind of palling around with this gang of like 4 nobodies up in Hiroshima, and then a whole lot of the older cast basically doesn't appear in this game. Like, I remember people complaining, oh, Majima is barely in this one, and I was like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. And then I played the game, and I'm like, Majima is just not in this game. What the fuck? Like, it's so weird having games 4 and 5, which are the ones where you don't play as Kiryu the entire time, and like they start to build up this extended cast.
Sorry.
I'm going to cause trouble on purpose.
Yep. No, that's not on purpose.
So, like, in 4 and 5, you move away from Kiryu a bit, and they build up a larger cast, and then those characters just don't appear in this game. Like, Daigo, Saejima, and Majima appear twice.
Oh, wow.
The very start of the game, and after the credits. They're in prison the entire game. It's ridiculous.
It feels like if this is the end of the Kiryu saga, you bring back all the greatest hits.
That's the thing, is like, this does not feel like written as the end of the Kiryu saga. It feels much more like just another adventure with Kiryu and some of his friends, but not all of them.
It's an East game.
Yeah. It feels more like, because I just played Yakuza 3 last year, it feels very similar to that one, but that one didn't have the pressure of being the finale. It was just deep in the middle of the saga.
Yeah.
And then there's my own head getting in the way of things. There's a line towards the end, because I was wondering, like, why is this game spending so much time with these new characters at the expense of all these other, recurring cast members? Where are they going with this?
Right.
And like Kiryu's whole thing throughout it's so funny. They call them the Yakuza games in English, but like you never actually play as a member of the Yakuza, because Kiryu's always like, he's either been kicked out temporarily or he's resigned. He's never actually
he's never like
a Yakuza member,
full-fledged kind of there.
Yeah, there's always some workaround where, like, in the first game, he goes to prison for 10 years and then he comes back and he finds out, like, he's been kicked out of the clan.
Yeah.
So he's never actually in it while you're playing the games. So I thought for a bit that the conclusion was going to be that Kiryu joins the Yakuza again, where he's kind of come on this revelation of, like, this is who I am, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
Because he's spending a whole lot of time with this really small group of, like, 5 guys in a smaller town, like this, really bonding with this local group of Yakuza. But again, putting up the front, like, I'm just a civilian,
Yeah.
But then, shit goes down a lot in this game. I don't want to, again, it's not a bad game, and like there are definitely the crazy, oh my god, I can't believe it moments. And there's one where, like, they are facing off against, like, the head family. It's like 100 guys come to kick their ass, and Kiryu's like, they can't mess with us. And everybody notices he says that, and he, like, kind of looks back and smirks. Like,
oh god,
he's back in the Yakuza. That's what this is all about.
Sure.
And I'm even trying to tie that to how there's the whole clan creator thing in this one, where, like, you build up a color gang to beat up the other bad color gang.
Right, yeah.
So it's all these systems, and, like, the baseball thing where you're being the manager of the baseball team. So everything in this game is like, Kiryu is a leader. Yeah. That's who he is. He is charismatic. He gets people under his wing. He leads them. And that's just not where the story actually ends up going. And I just thought that, like, my ending for this game of Kiryu making his own Yakuza family was, like, I thought that was the perfect conclusion. Then when it doesn't happen, I was just like, okay.
Well, yeah. Some things happened. And yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, even very early in the game, there's one line where he's talking to, like, the current leader of the Tojo clan, who doesn't have a tattoo. And Kiryu, of, like, the old school, like, pride, is, like, outraged by that.
Yeah, yeah.
The other guy's like, the tattoo is just a detriment because it makes you a social outcast. Our new era of Yakuza, we have no need for tattoos, and Kiryu's, like, fucking pissed.
Yeah, obviously.
So again, I thought, that's another little hint of them leading towards this Kiryu remaking the Yakuza clan in his own perfect ideal world.
Yeah.
And then that's just not how the story ends up going. And it's kind of weird where, like, he's just been a superhero for the last couple games.
Yeah.
Like, there's a notable moment in 5 where he just fights, like, the entire Tojo clan at once. It's like literally you versus 100 NPCs at once.
Yep.
And, like, a ton of the fights in this one are the same way, where it's just like they throw, like, literally 30 enemies at you at once and you win. So they're just, like, playing this completely straight in the cutscenes of, like, Kiryu will be fine on his own against entire clans of enemies.
Yeah.
So when it gets super serious at the end, and all of a sudden Kiryu drops that invincibility, you're like, wait,
like,
yeah,
it's really inconsistent with itself, and
it suddenly gets super heavy at the end.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, now he's not a superhero. And just, I don't know. Like, it's a good game, and there's a very funny reference that, not reference, but like, remember in 2016, the same year this game came out, PSO2 also went to Earth?
Yep.
There's like a weird crossover there that I had forgotten about, where people were like, huh, PSO2 and Yakuza 6, huh? Same universe?
Oh, no. Oh,
so,
no.
Like, coming back on that was really funny. It's just a weird...
That's a weird thing to stumble back into.
A weird thing that kind of happened. So, like, it's a good game. It's not the best, though.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get to
Like a Dragon. Yeah, like a Dragon is just, man, it just kind of feels like the reset that series might need after this game, honestly. Yeah,
because so after this they did Judgment, which I did like a whole lot more overall. Because I think, again, having no expectations going in, just kind of a blank slate with this and with Judgment and Like a Dragon, like I think Kiryu had kind of become a bit too played out, maybe. Like, they've done like 7 games with him. It's fine.
Yeah, like you can move on, and I think that they're largely like they're clearly ready to do that.
Yeah, and they kind of have at this point.
Yeah.
I just think forever think it's kind of weird though that Judgment keeps the beat 'em up gameplay, and apparently they might be announcing a sequel soon. There's some like Judgment.
Yeah, there's like they keep doing something every day about Judgment launch or something. It's weird.
It just came out on like the new consoles.
Yeah.
Like PS5 HD or version or whatever. But it's funny that Judgment, the one where you play as like a lawyer, that's the one that's still a beat 'em up. But then the proper game, that's the one that they turned into a freaking JRPG.
It's ballsy. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
like it's a ballsy fucking move, and I admire it just because you don't see that kind of shit anymore.
Yeah.
So,
especially when all the Final Fantasy and all the other action JRPGs are moving towards action.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for Yakuza, the beat 'em up to move entirely into turn-based combat, very funny.
It's
like a complete bucking of trends.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Final Fantasy is just an action game at this point.
I mean, like, when's the last time Final Fantasy was just a menu-based, like a mainline Final Fantasy was just a menu-based game? I think it literally has to be 10.
10 or 11.
Yeah, I think it's literally 10. That's the last time you were just punching in commands to interact. Like, you could make an argument for 12. Because you still move around like an MMO, but I still feel that game is kind of, I don't know, more interactive than a typical menu-based game. Because I think positioning matters in that game. I can't remember.
Yeah, positioning matters in 11 too. Yeah, if you're talking just menu stuff, I don't know, because the last one I played would be like 9.
9, yeah. Like 10 is the 13 is menu-based.
13 is menu based. All the 13s are menu based. They're doing active time stuff.
Yeah.
In 13,
okay,
so like 10 would be pure turn based, but also that's 4 through 9 is active time stuff.
Yeah. I'm more talking about like 15 and then the 7 remake are just like, hey,
we're just bad action games now.
We're trying to be Kingdom Hearts with a little less like real time action stuff.
Yeah.
But 16 literally looks like it has like Devil May Cry combos.
Yeah, like 16 is
16 is just, it's an action game now.
Like, we're just not even pretending at this point.
So yeah, that's kind of a weird end of my Yakuza journey, but it's a good time.
But you got Like a Dragon coming up. I think that that's going to be pretty great.
I just think like the whole like obsession of playing every single one to kind of end on none of it actually really mattered, especially because 4 and 5 were the first ones I played, which would still be the most relevant for this one.
Yeah.
But just the complete lack of returning characters. Like the one funny thing is like the first character you play is in Yakuza 4. I'm blanking on his name right now. He's the one that does show up like in the middle of the story a couple times. It's like, okay, it's good seeing him at least. A couple times. And he plays him again in 5, along with Haruka. Akiyama, that's his name.
Akiyama, yeah.
I think. Polly, what you been up to?
What have I been up to?
Oh,
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I've done things.
Let's go.
I've done a lot of things. God, I don't know which one to go with.
You weren't prepared.
I'm prepared because
you weren't ready for the big show,
the
Polly.
big I was upended by the big show. I'm done. Like, I just got completely bowled over. Wasn't ready for that toss to Polly for the second slot. It's so rare. It's so rare. I'm usually always third. So I got games. I got cartoons. It's like, which one do I do? Which one do I swerve? Do I go? Let's talk about games. We're still on video games. Rhett was talking about video games. I'll go with games because I've only played a couple, but I think they're worth talking about. The first one I played this week. Actually, it was actually just more of a demo. It's less of a full-fledged game. It's because it's a game that's not coming out until at least January of next year. So, I came across an article that was talking about a cool upcoming visual novel that looked kind of neat called Corpse Factory, and I think that when you name a thing Corpse Factory, it's kind of you put a lot of pressure on yourself to make a really cool thing. Basically, like, what this game's kind of riffing on is it's sort of like Hellgirl in visual novel form.
Oh, so see, I saw the setup to this, but I didn't see the payoff.
Yeah, like, the setup is really like if you don't like somebody, there's a website you can go to, punch in their name, and upload a picture of them, and they're basically gonna die. Shortly before their death, they will receive a photo of their own corpse, and somehow they will end up dead. And the demo that I played, I don't know whether this is just kind of like a vertical slice or if this is like their intro or something, because it doesn't seem attached to sort of the main characters and stuff that are in their Kickstarter and on their site. It's these kind of like one-off characters that are there. But they do this cool little setting about this girl getting bullied at work and set up for a robbery that she didn't commit, so she gets fired. So she's like, you know what? Fuck off. I'm going to get you killed. I'm going to use the Corpse Girl website. And so the story kind of spirals out from there, about a good 50 minutes. And it's just kind of neat. Like, it's like they do that Hellgirl thing where, like for those who don't know what Hellgirl is, it's basically the same premise, except like the character setup is a bit different. Like, the main character of Hellgirl is just kind of this, she is kind of the constant in all of these one-off stories that take place over the course of this. I think it's like a 3-season anime series.
I think there's a fourth one.
God,
I know you dropped off in the third one, and I thought the third one actually kind of got decent by the end, and then the fourth one, everyone was like, this is complete trash.
Yeah, like I think 2 was like sort of like the high water mark, and especially the climax of season 2 was just amazing. 2
was so good.
And like when the one-off stories in that series are good, they are really fucking good. Like just these little revenge fantasies, and the thing in Hellgirl is that like when they go and kill the person, you also forfeit your eternal soul when you die as well. So like that's a cool, like that's sort like but Corpse Girl doesn't seem to have anything like that yet, where there's like a penalty for using the Corpse Girl website. It's just kind of like you do it, they get a photo of their body, the corpse shortly before they die, and then that's it. The thing that kind of jumped out at me is just like, I think that the writing style is like 100% super well done. Like it's very there's a tone and attention to detail I like to utilize in my own writing. I sort of see my own writing in this writing, I guess. There's just like
that's a good feeling.
Yeah, like there's a real good sort of conversational tone when the character is kind of narrating her journey, where like she's sort of like the dialogue and the things you're reading are just kind of like a person speaking rather than somebody trying to write really flowery prose.
Bitch.
I think that's the best text box in any video game ever. Like, she just meets a character, like, in the first line after meeting the character is bitch. And that's it. That's just the line of inner monologue. It's great. But I think that like it's a fun premise, and they did a fun story with the demo. And like the production values are really fucking good.
is so pretty.
Yeah, like this is just a really, really good looking game. The music's good. Like it's got a lot of good atmosphere going on. And like you can't trust my word about this game, by the way, because I am a shill. I did back their Kickstarter, so and that's the first Kickstarter I've backed in 7 years. So,
dope.
Yeah, you backed it after playing the demo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I backed it after playing the demo. Yeah.
Yeah, you were so you're not really shilling, like you didn't have an investment beforehand going in.
No. But from here on out, you can't trust me.
Now you're shilling.
Now I'm shilling.
Now you're shilling.
Now
you weren't shilling during the stream.
Yeah.
But now you are.
Yeah. Nick, now is 100% shill mode. You can't trust a thing I said because now I have skin in the game. So
I feel natural antipathy towards a lot of especially VN demos, but just kind of demos in general that come way, way before the release. Mm-hmm. But like if you're running a Kickstarter, and you make this and you put out a demo, and the demo tells a complete cool one-off thing in its own right, that fucking rules. I love that.
I think that these folks have their shit together because they've successfully kickstarted 3 games in the past. I think we are 100% fine. Like this demo in and of it, like this demo itself feels just very well together. The focus is there. Like they know what they're doing. Like I think that this is going to turn out exactly the way that I want it to. Not in terms of like whether I think the final story is going to be good or not, but I can look at this game and I see the vision they're going for, and I 100% believe in it. I think that it's a fun concept. And I love the writing, so I'm 100% here for it. So if you want to check that out, like the demo is free on Steam. You can just go grab it there. It's on itch as well. And they've got a Kickstarter going, which I'm not going to shill. Oops, I mentioned it. I'm shilling it.
Corpse Factory.
Yep. Great name. Nope. I wonder if they're going to run into any issues with like being confused with Corpse Party.
That's where my brain went, yeah.
A couple people mentioned that on their Kickstarter website, and they seemed bewildered by it. Because they either didn't know that that's a thing that existed, which I find hard to believe, or they just don't think it's going to be an issue. And they also seem to think that this is more Death Note than Hellgirl, which I didn't get Death Note vibes from this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, have they seen Hellgirl? Have they seen the premise for that one?
I mean, I don't know. Like a couple of people have mentioned Hellgirl and Jikoku Shoujo on the Kickstarter page, and I think they either gloss over it or just don't know what the hell that is. But it doesn't feel like 100%. It's not a 100% ripoff. It's just kind of like it's the same kind of idea. And there is a corpse girl that I think, even though she has a slightly different look, she looks kind of like Emma I to me. Some people did. Some people.
It's one of the first animes I watched.
I sent you that.
You did.
I sent you my.
Oh my god!
I sent you my season 1 of Hellgirl. Those DVD cases were immaculate. I think they did a real great job on the art on those.
Oh, they're so pretty. Yeah, oh my god!
It's a very pretty set that Funimation did for that series.
Yep, absolutely.
Give that a look sometime if you're into kind of really dark stories that are obviously going to be very violent, very ugly. With a name like Corpse Factory, you'd kind of think so. And I played another visual novel. I streamed a visual novel just a week ago.
I forgot this was coming.
Just a week ago, I streamed. Like John was with me, and there was also, weirdly enough, there was also a goose in that call as well. I played the new Nom Nom Nami game, Starry Flowers, which is a lovely, adorable little tale of cute witch boys falling in love. And my god, this game kind of, like, I can't just beat around the bush. I just kind of have to say,
right?
It blindsided me in a way where it's just like, I've not played a romance visual novel where I felt that the romance kind of happened naturally and felt like a real tangible growing of two people kind of slowly coming together. These like and the way that the main characters like kind of this playboy, kind of just like this absolutely charming like he's a fucking adorable peach, and I love him to death. Periwinkle is one of the best written protagonists I think I've ever seen in a visual novel. But this story just has so much emotional maturity, and deep understanding of like relationships and how they can kind of just sort of happen when you're not maybe intending for that to happen, and then but also dealing with that stuff like in a way where it's just like, yeah, there's kind of a dark middle chapter where, you know, Periwinkle's trying to figure out what's going on here, but it's not like over dramatic to the point to where, like, I feel in other visual novels this would be like a 5-hour span of time where the character is just repeating things over and over and being sad. Like, I feel most romance visual novels go that weird pining route, and it's just insufferable. And this is really just kind of like more real and more mature and like more into the real world nitty grittiness, but it's viewed through this lens of an artist who has this very soft style that like it all meshes together in a way that is unbelievably fucking smart. Like you found a way to make a character be brooding and going through the shit and trying to figure it out, but you didn't make the reader feel like shit at the same time.
It's so cute. It's so cute and nice.
Yeah, it's you go with this character developing like from like a cute crush to just completely falling in and not realizing it until it's fucking happened. And it's the most adorable fucking thing. That, yeah, like, I don't know that I'll, like, I don't even really read many romance-based visual novels anyway, because I think that they all kind of have that same thing where the goal is, like, it's the sex scene. Whereas these two characters literally meet and fuck the first night. And it's like, oh, okay. And they have an intensely sexual relationship over the course of this game. Like, they hang out a lot, they fuck a lot. And sort of through all that, they kind of grow more attached to one another without realizing it. And it's just a real natural and sweet progression.
Feels very true to life.
Yeah. Like,
because I don't see a lot of in games.
Yeah, it's literally a situation that I've found myself in before, of just like, oh, this is a fun casual thing. Oh no, there's a problem. There's a problem. Gonna lay around and read manga all day. That'll solve it. Lay in bed and eat peanut butter out of the jar. That's all you're gonna do for the next 2 weeks.
So fucking good.
And the writing is just like, it's so snappy. Like, goddamn, like, for a 4-hour visual novel, it did not feel like 4 hours by the time we were finished streaming it. I literally was still super refreshed and everything right when we finished reading it, even though it took 4 fucking hours.
I've read through it 3 times now.
That's like, crazy to me. But there's...
It didn't get boring at any point. Like, each part of it, I was like, oh, I love this scene. Oh, I love this scene.
Yeah,
oh, it's this scene. I love this scene. I love this scene.
John, let's be real here. It was not that calm at all. We both know it. You were literally squawking in my ear for 4 hours. Ah! That was John for 4 hours.
It was warranted.
You're not wrong. But I'm just saying, you were literally just honking every 2 to 3 minutes.
Never stop honking.
Never stop honking, baby.
Are you counting, John? Are you counting this as the third read?
I mean, I think you
3
have to.
reads and this.
I said I played it once myself. It took a couple hours. I played the whole thing through again with Monty that same day. Yeah. That same day I read the whole thing with Monty, and we just squealed together. And then like several weeks later, Polly streamed it, and I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so this was number 3.
Okay.
Yes, the stream was number 3. I was present the whole time.
Yeah, this is a really, really good VM.
Yeah. I think a big thing for me also is that it's the most like full Nami story I played. because she writes a lot of very cute, good, kind of short form one-off games
where like the object is that confession, like where it's just like you're gonna take an hour or less to get to the confession and the kiss, and then boom, there's your catharsis.
Like Her Tears Were My Light is a very quick, very big story that squeezes a lot of big emotions into a small package, which is very cool, but it's like it's going to land very different from when you take the 2 hours and the 27,000 words to make it land. Fully. Contract Demon was very cute. And Syrup and The Ultimate Sweet, they both kind of were smaller than Her Tears Were My Light, so they kind of landed a little bit better for me. But then this was just like, okay, we're not having a bunch of roots, it's two people. And the people that are orbiting them, but it's mostly these two people. We're going to live in this world for 2 to 3 hours.
And
then it's just
there's nothing that it does wrong. I can't like you usually try to see the good and bad and everything, because you don't want to come away ever saying a game is perfect, because there's so very few examples of anything you'd call that. But this is a game where I literally can't think of much that I would criticize. I found a typo.
There's one of the extra scenes, which is Periwinkle meeting him for the first time, and that was like the one time where I was maybe like, okay, this guy is at work. Like maybe you can tone it down.
Maybe you can dial it back a little, my dude.
You don't know him yet.
Yeah.
That was like the only time where like that voice
was maybe a little mad
to me, because the entire rest of the game is just like just perfectly boundary communicating.
Like that's so literally the start of their date, is setting up some boundaries. Like what are we doing here?
So
like
nice.
What are you in for? I'm here to fuck. What about you? Okay, good. Let's do it. Cool. Let's not get complicated. So they set up those boundaries on the first date. Whereas you like when you get that extra bonus scene of them meeting the first time, it's kind of like, okay, dude, you are at an 11 right now, and I need you to be at like a 4.
So that's like the only time. I was actually sensitive about this. I was actually pretty sensitive about this because I had one friend who's just extremely ace who played it.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
I was actually like really put off just because Periwinkle is so fucking horny. And I was like, but can't you see that this is nice horny?
It's and I also like the fact that it's not like one character's super horny and the other is like super shy about the horniness.
Pastille is very horny.
Yeah, Pastille is very horny himself. It's just he's also just a soft boy. He's just like saying the right things or doing the right things will fluster him to the point of just like, the complete embarrassing, the blushing and all that. But it's also just like, that's what I'm here for.
Yep.
Yeah, like he's totally into it. So it's just like, it's two adult characters having an adult relationship, whereas I feel a lot of romance visual novels, even when they're about adults, still feel like it's fucking
juvenile
children. It still feels like teenagers, and it's why I never buy into it, and why it never seems to work for me, is because I just feel that they're trying to make the build up to the confession, the first kiss, and sex like the big thing, the big catharsis, when like you strip most of that out in this game in like the first 15 minutes.
Because that's not the fun part. That's not the interesting part.
No, like the fun and interesting part is like diving through these emotions through the lens of a character who is, like just very clearly a playboy and doesn't want to settle down and isn't ready for these type of emotions to be hitting in a weird way, and then just kind of like, is it okay to embrace that? Like maybe should I take that shot? Like maybe it's worth it. And it's such a really nice progression, I think. If there's one thing I could if there's one word I could assign to this game, it would just be nice. It's nice.
It's so nice. It's so nice and so real. There were just so many moments where I just immediately saw myself in one of the characters. Just like, yep.
I had a lot of moments. I had a lot of moments during that stream where I was just kind of like hovering over the mute button for a couple seconds because I was just going to go, ah!
You got me.
You got me. Like, and then they did get me. Real, like, I was not able to mute. I was not able to mute fast enough at the end.
That ending credits song.
Oh my god.
Got a big fucking girl in my face now, just thinking about
it. For all of this, for this game to have come together in 3 months with the quality of writing that it has, and the quality of its presentation, top to bottom, this is a $40 to $50 visual novel in terms of quality. And it's like what? A few bucks if you want to throw it that way, but I think you can still download. Yeah, you can still just pay nothing if you want.
Pay what you want.
It's wild to me. Like Nami has completely surpassed like anything in that catalog. like even some of like the bigger moments in Lonely Wolf Treat don't hit the same way, I don't think. And that's not despair.
This is the game that I think she was building towards in a lot of ways.
This feels like the culmination of everything that these other games have been trying to do, or just like the pieces of the puzzle, honing each one so that it will fit when the final masterpiece is ready to be unveiled. And that's really what... And
then it just erupted from her in one continuous stream over 3 months.
Yeah,
I was possessed by the spirit of these boys.
Yeah, like and we know what that's like when that creative spirit just fucking digs in. Like when it finally takes over and just smacks you in the fucking face. And that's definitely the vibe you get from this game. This is a game that's very like everything that it's putting out there is 100% intended, both from the story that it's telling and the enthusiasm with which the story is being told. Everything comes through in a way that is literally just fucking perfect. And more people need to fucking play this game, I think.
I will post a link in the chat.
There you go. Drop a link in the chat for more people to play Starry Flowers. I promise you. I promise you. It's worth your time.
And you played it without playing the 2 games that Castiel and Periwinkle came from too. Yeah, they were like bit characters in other games.
Like I
cut into this.
No previous experience with anything of Nami's work other than Lonely Wolf Treat at this point. And I went in and I was able to play this without it because it's not really like that. It's not a game that's referencing anything or pulling any lore from anything else other than that these characters exist in this world and they met.
God, I love all of them.
Yeah, they're all great. They're all great.
I'm just looking over her. The big ones left for me are Kaima, which is her like kind of edgy looking RPG with combat in it.
Oh, weird.
And then another one that and then First Kiss is the Spooky Soiree, which is the one that Periwinkle comes from.
Life is good. The Periwinkle is a snappy dresser.
Oh my god, I love him so fucking much.
You get to play dress up with him every chapter too. It's adorable.
I think it's very warm and nice that like basically my favorite depiction of adult horny ever is from a Gray Ace author. I think that rules.
I think that's so fucking good.
Yep.
So yeah,
maybe when you're outside it a little bit, you can get it.
I think that's sort of where it comes from. I think that's where it comes from. When you're kind of outside that a little bit, it's easier to kind of have a perspective that's not really skewed by it, or be, you know, like you don't get lost in the sauce so much.
Stupid. Thank you for sharing that, Polly. Thank you for going on that journey.
Yeah, it was great. And if you don't want to read it yourself, you can go to the YouTube channel, Polly S&PS on YouTube. I archived our stream there, and it was a lovely fucking time. We had a lot of laughs. We had a lot of conversation occur in the chat about whether pineapple works or not. A lot of good times. Rhett, before you come over, eat a lot of pineapple, please.
Does it work?
Yes.
Okay.
John.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, last time we talked about Devil May Cry, because I played Devil May Cry 4, and I think I had just gotten to the end of the Roxas section of Devil May Cry 4, Mission 11, and I basically felt like the whole Nero chunk was like extremely solid and fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nero feels great to play as. I think it builds in like a really satisfying way. The chapters are all longer than DMC 1 and 3, so it feels close to being like the same length as like DMC 1 or maybe even DMC 3. Just like this very satisfying arc as it builds to this big explosive confrontation against, the Pope. Yeah. Because what else are you going to be in these games?
Right.
So I got there, and then there's the back half or the back third of the game. It's not as good, huh?
No. It.
Y'all were very good about keeping your cards close to your chest, because I was very open. I was like, all right, give it to me. Devil May Cry 4, I'm ready.
There were so many times when you were talking about it, and I was just like, I kept thinking about, just like, man, that back half. Oh no, it's coming. Like it was on the tip of my tongue so many times, and I just kept biting it. Just like, nope, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let this happen and see how the cards fall. And just, they landed exactly as I thought they would.
So the thing is, it's only like a third of the game because it goes a lot. It's their shorter, snappier missions. Yeah. You control Nero loses and gets absorbed by the final boss, basically, and then the final boss flies across the island back to the first level, and then you take control of Dante, and then you go through all of the levels you've just been through backwards, and you fight the same bosses again.
It's so transparent.
It's very odd. They do a lot. They change up the structure. Like one of the missions is now it's a timed escape sequence.
Yeah.
As you're going back through this mission, they block off chunks of the level. They do. One of the levels has been overcome by ice. One of the levels has a teleporter maze in it now, which is great.
That's the best one.
And you fight the same bosses again. Dante has his own verb set. It's not as fun as Nero's, because Nero is super fun, and I love using his hand.
Yep.
And this is like, okay, it's like DMC3, and you get like weapons from all the bosses. Yeah. And you get to use some of them for like one level.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, now we're gonna take DMC3 and like shrink it down. It's all levels you've seen before, and it's worse. I love the contrast between Nero and Dante's voices, because Nero is broody boy and Dante is in full Dante mode.
Dante is still edgy teenager.
Dante's edgy teenager, but he's like very confident and very goofy.
Yeah.
And like he was in 3, and I really love that.
And I love that playfulness.
Yeah, it's very playful. Yeah, like when he's just sitting on the boss's tail, catching on fire, and then mocks him. He's just
like when he meets Phantom in Devil May Cry 1, he's just standing there bumping him on the head just while he's talking to him casually.
It's so good.
He's so
Dante's
cool.
attitude is so good and important to these games, and it would be tragic if that was ever sucked out of any of them. And those very cute, good boss interactions, where even all the bosses have like their own personality and they bounce off Dante in cute, fun ways. It's like it's a very little thing, but you don't realize how much it contributes unless you like. I don't know if it wasn't present in one of these games, which would be bizarre,
weird.
And then so you get to the end, and there's like a really bad boss fight with Dante, where it's just like a giant set piece boss that just doesn't really make sense. You're like jumping around on these platforms around this god floating in the sky, and it just doesn't work. No. I was so confused. Everything else is so clearly communicated, and then got to this point, and I was just adrift for 20 minutes trying to figure it out.
I definitely remember like, oh, it's time to go to YouTube to figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to do here.
Like when I played through it, a friend of mine had the strategy guide, so I was like, hey, throw me that strategy guide.
Okay, good. Because part of it is that you have to shatter all of these gemstones strewn about his body, but like they very clearly shatter.
Yeah.
But then if you hit them a bunch more times, then they break off completely. Yeah. And I didn't realize that. I thought I just had to break them.
It's badly communicated.
Yeah. It's just something broke down and they didn't have enough time to play test it.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 stages with Nero. It's like, okay, we had the cute little Dante intermission. It was over pretty quickly. I'm still on board. So now let's have a really satisfying climax with the character I actually am really invested in. And then the last 2 stages are really bad.
Yeah.
I honestly, I played this game. I don't remember anything past the silly set piece boss.
Yeah.
I just blanked the rest of it out in my memory. It's so weird.
It's just a fucking nothing burger.
DMC3, the last level basically is the Mega Man 2 teleporter hatches where you just go to all the bosses and fight them again. And it sucks. Yeah. And then you have 2 big bosses where you have the big set piece boss with the main villain, and then you have the one-on-one with Virgil, which rules.
Yeah.
Okay. It's obviously not as good as one, and anybody that likes 3 more than 1 is wrong. And
in Cameo we trust.
Pretty much. I'm very kidding. 3 feels so good, and I think that's reason enough on its own. And I think the writing in 3 is really cool and strong.
Oh yeah, it stays good.
Mm-hmm. But 1's my favorite still.
That's fine. I think Devil May Cry 1 is great. I have no problem with Devil May Cry 1. I think that game's still great. Despite the fact that I will be the one that says I think that camera is absolute balls at times. I still think that game is fantastic.
I love the Resident Evil texture. That's the thing with DMC1 that makes me kind of like it more than Bayonetta.
Yeah, I kind of figured that much. Is that it definitely has those leftovers from being a Resident Evil game.
It's so tasty, and they still have those in 4 and 3, which I love. So 3's climax was already something that I was a little bit okay. This is good enough. I'm satisfied with this. Mm-hmm. And then 4 is it was just an extended dice board game section again. The first one was there, and it's really boring. And then Dante gets to it, and then Dante slices the die in half. Fuck this! I'm not doing that.
I'm not.
And it's so satisfying.
It's such a great moment.
Mm-hmm. But then they bring it back anyway for the last level. It's just a dice thing where you fucking roll a die, and it takes 10 seconds. And then the board rolls around the page, and then you either get health, and it takes forever, or you fight a gauntlet of enemies, or you get to progress to the next area, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And then what do you do between each section of the board game? Boss refights!
Yeah!
And you teleport to the original arena you fought them in.
It's not even specific fucking arenas for the fucking refights. It's just, no, here's the same fucking video game room that you were in
some hours ago. Because 1 does that cool thing where you get sucked into the weird worm, and then you fight a silhouette of the boss, and it has half as much health.
Yeah, that's
and it's
cool.
Yep, I love this. This is cool. And then it's stretched out over the last 2 or 3 levels.
Yeah.
2 or 3 over 2 or 3 missions. This is just fight a bunch of these in a row with awful board game sections in between.
It's just literally capsule fights in Mega Man.
Fucking capsule fights in Mega Man. Man. What a sin. In a game that on the world.
In a game where you already backtracked and fought all those bosses.
Yeah!
Again. In a game where you already fought them all again. It's absurd. And I'm okay. I like boss free fights when they're paced out in a way that makes sense.
Mega Man 1, Mega Man X1.
Mega Man X1, Mega Man 1, Devil May Cry 1. Yeah. They all do a good job.
They all do a good job of just sprinkling them in.
Mm-hmm. And it's actually exciting when you do it like that.
But when you just slam me into a room with a couple of teleporters and then throws me into the same fucking room again with the same fucking fight, I'm just fuck out of here.
You're just wasting my fucking time.
I can't stand it when Mega Man still does it. I think that Mega Man 11, the end of that game is garbage because they do it again. And anything, I can't stand refights like that.
it's just they go. It's tradition at this point, even though the first game didn't do it.
And then Mega Man, at least in Mega Man 2, the fights are over in like 20 seconds.
Yeah,
and then you get to like Mega Man X, and the bosses take like 2 minutes or plus. So the boss refight rooms take like 20 minutes.
Oh god. I think in Mega Man 2 it made sense because it was about now you can use all the weaknesses, and like Metal Man versus Metal Man is like a one-hit kill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you can't even do that the first time.
No.
It makes more sense in Mega Man than it does in like Devil May Cry 3, but it's still I still think pacing it out across the climaxes makes a lot more sense than throwing it at you in one big fucking blob. And the worst part is, after all of that, all those boss fights, one form final boss that is mostly just a recapitulation of the final boss from the first chunk of the game.
Yep.
You just fight the Pope again, and he's barely different.
You fight the Pope.
Yeah. And he has one form.
Yep.
And then then you think the game's over, and then it's like, actually no, there's one more boss fight, but then it's a quick time event.
Yeah.
And you're
my god.
It's dire. It's bleak. I can't imagine having a more disappointing Devil May Cry experience.
Yeah, I can't either.
No, Devil May Cry 4, like, again, that stretch from that first Nero chunk is 2/3 of the game, and I thought it was fucking great.
Yeah.
I loved it. And, like, I was disappointed in how the game wrapped up, but I still was having fun throughout the Dante sections, and it really wasn't just kind of the very end being a whiff.
Yeah.
That kind of made me feel like, oh, well, all right. This one's probably not essential.
No.
This came out within a year of Bayonetta. That's bleak. God, Bayonetta's good though.
Yeah, so like good. That game had its head on its shoulder.
I mean, talk about a game that does not whiff its climax.
No, not at all.
The last like couple hours of that game are just pure bliss.
Yeah, yeah. If you are playing the end of Bayonetta and you are not, like, laughing your ass off and having a good time, like, you are joyless.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. Like the end goal of all media is to have the same level of excitement and catharsis as a Sonic Adventure climax. And Kamiya games do that every time.
And punch God into the sun.
Yes!
God, it's so fucking choice. I immediately played Devil May Cry 2 after that.
Oh, good!
Complete the saga.
Good! You gotta go back, you gotta clean it up. Like, you just gotta know, right?
I gotta know! I played 1, I played 3, I played 4, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna... If I played 2 right after 1 and it was really bad, I was worried it would maybe knock me off the series. I wanted to go into 3 and get kind of committed fully.
Sure.
And at this point, I am committed fully. So it's like, okay, I can have a bad DMC experience and still love Devil May Cry, and I'll be fine. Nobody likes this game.
No, like this game
people that made it.
The people that made this game don't like this game is rightfully maligned.
It's dire.
Yeah. Like,
I didn't go into it expecting it to be good. I didn't expect it to be like...
Of course not.
I didn't go into it expecting like, oh, I'm going to find the secret diamond in the rough, and people just didn't understand it. I was like, this is probably going to be bad, but it's also has a very short how long to beat and long to lay, and I can just knock it out, and then I'll know. And the level of badness that it reaches was not one that I had considered it would reach.
Oh no!
It's...
When did you hit the oh no point?
Probably like the first or second level when I just cleared out an entire set piece of enemies by sitting there and holding fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was mashing the fire button because in all the other Devil May Cry games, you have to press the fire button over and over to keep shooting. In DMC 2, you can just hold it and it'll continuously fire the gun.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until like mission 8.
I wonder what the original version of this looked like before. Was it Itsuno came on to kind of write the ship, and he went on to do DMC3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder what kind of concessions they made, like just take out the gun reload. It's the only thing you can actually reasonably use, or whatever. Like, how much worse was this?
Yeah, like I want to see and know the status of this game when he was pulled into like, dude, somebody has to try and salvage this.
Because it's so bad. The finished product is so bad.
The finished product is misery. I remember when this game came out that it was literally sold out everywhere. It was that fucking anticipated. It took me a week to get a copy, and I was bummed. So when I got the game and I finally slapped that fucking thing into my PS2, and an hour later I was having no fun. I was just I felt my entire worldview changing.
Where were Boy, there must not have been much internet back then. Like, where were the reviews or the people?
The reviews were praising it.
Oh my god!
Oh. This is a game that, like, I don't want to be that person, but when you are a journalist on a short schedule to review a lot of games, you're probably glad when something super easy like Devil May Cry 2 comes along and makes you feel like you're good at video games.
Just keep shooting.
Just keep shooting. And I remember this game reviewing very well at the time.
Oh my god, how hilarious.
I mean, that's like the one thing you can say for it is that it goes down quick. Like you don't like get stuck on event flagging.
No resistance.
You don't get stuck on any of the bosses.
Nope.
You don't get stuck on anything. And it's short. So you just chew through it very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Which you really don't want for a $50 game.
No! Not at all! It's shitty!
Mm-hmm. God, I guess that maybe that's the only thing Itsuno was able to do is, like, it's not broken. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't break in your hands.
You can play this beginning to end on both discs, and you will have played a video game.
I can't believe DMC2 for PlayStation 2 has a 68 on Metacritic.
That's way too high.
That's way higher than I...
That's way too high.
13 positive reviews, 24 mixed, and 3 negative.
I did have a friend that was just like, it's like there's not really anything about it that's like concretely worse than the first game. It's just like it had all the joy sucked out of it. And I was kind of thinking like, no, that's... I can point at 17 different things.
Yeah, like I could write you a paper on everything that is absolutely terrible about this game.
There's like no sound effect when your sword passes through an enemy. There's no impact. The enemy doesn't like react at all.
No, everything just feels mushy.
Except the guns. When you shoot something with they will not recoil from your sword attacks, but they will recoil from gunshots. From shooting them with a gun.
Yeah.
And the gun is effortless. There's a constant auto target. It's like a really aggressive auto target.
Yeah. Like you cannot fuck up just shooting.
Which is funny because sometimes you have to hit switches to progress the stage, and then you can't aim at the switch because you'll be aiming at any enemies in the room. So you have to go clear out enemies so that you can hit the switch. Or you like position yourself with the switch between you and the enemy, and then maybe you can hit it. It feels so bad. Often enemies will get like, Dante auto targets aggressively, so you just hold shoot, and then Dante will fire at something off screen, and you'll see a little enemy health bar pop up in the corner, and it drizzles down to 0, and then it's like, well,
I have played a $5 character action game that plays and feels way better than Devil May Cry 2. And if this small indie company, I believe in where were they at? Fuck. Anyway, the game is called Marlowe Briggs.
Oh, right.
And this game was like $5 or some shit, and it's a character action game, and it feels better than Devil May Cry 2.
Oh, it's so bleak. There's no game design.
No.
There's no puzzles. They took out all the puzzles even.
Yeah.
So I love it now.
There's no like Resident Evil-isms even. It's just fighting, and then the fighting is nothing.
Yeah, it's just like run to this square, shoot some enemies, run to this next square, shoot some enemies.
Oh my god, the fucking tank where they have it's a tank. And all it can do is shoot out of its tank front. So you just get up in front of it, and then it shoots directly over your head because you're close to it and underneath the tank thing. And then it takes a minute to kill it because it has such a giant health bar, and then they put 4 of them in a row.
They didn't play the PS2 Shinobi games where you fight helicopters and tanks with a sword, and it feels really fucking good.
Oh, I need to play that game and wash the taste of this one out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Dante doesn't banter.
No.
At all.
No.
There's almost no. He doesn't talk really at all. Like, all the bosses have like no dialogue too. So there's no personality to any of it. Mm-mm. There's none of that joy of the story. There's none of that joy from the story. There's none of the joy from the fighting. None of the joy from exploring. I got to the end and I was so bummed because I just realized it does not air. You finish with Dante and there's just an absolute nothing burger ending.
Yeah. And
then I realized like, oh God,
you have to.
There's no credits. It just goes straight to the title screen. I realized I need to play the other route, don't I?
You have to play Lucia.
I didn't finish this game unless I play the other route, and then I play the other route, and it is shorter, thank God.
Yeah.
Not that the first route was long or anything. I just wanted it to be over quicker.
Yeah.
And it is mostly like new levels and even a lot of new bosses, but not that it matters because
there's no
game design.
Yeah, like there's nothing here making this a fun or engaging experience for the player.
Mm-hmm. And then I start playing as her, and then she can, instead of shooting a gun, she throws knives, and she throws them very fast, and they deal a lot of damage. She has infinity of them, and they make enemies recoil and float into the air.
Can you hold down the button?
Yep. And you hold down the button.
Beautiful.
And you get to the very end of the game, and like there's a pretty cool final boss design where like earthquakes open the street and is like hovering and you're like in this crevice fighting this boss that's like moving around on the wall above you. Mm-hmm. It's hard to describe, but it actually looks it's a really cool effect. There are a couple of very cool looking bosses, and then I just walked back and forth holding the shoot button, and I killed it. Yeah. And that's the end of the game. Yeah. It's bleak, man. You can continue. You can the very final Dante fight was actually a little hard, and that's when I found out that you can just continue right where you left off, unlike DMC 1, where you actually have to do the whole mission again.
You have to do the mission again.
They bring back Phantom.
Oh no, poor Phantom!
And it's tragic. It made me sad because he doesn't talk.
Nope.
He doesn't attack you, basically, and then he dies, and it's like this very whiffle. He just kind of fades into the air, and he's like the end. He's like the last boss before the climactic level.
Like it's supposed to be this big throwback moment. It's so fucking hype, and they do nothing with it.
Mm-hmm. And I was laughing my ass off at this joke in my head, but I felt like the end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where I just wanted to put a pillow over Phantom's face.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was about to say, and after this, Phantom threw himself off a building.
It's like, oh, I'm so sorry, friend.
You got done dirty, my dude.
Think of the rabbits. Think of the rabbits.
Think of the rabbits.
So it is all right. The nicest thing I can say for this. It shares a composer with the MC1, which the later games do not.
No.
I think that there are moments when there's no enemies on screen, you're just kind of traversing through a space for a second, and the music's playing, and it's like, hey, this reminds me of the atmosphere of DMC1 in a way that 3 and 4 don't. Mm. And it's like a night, and there's like a nice flash of endorphins, and that happened like 2 or 3 times. Mm. And that was it. That was all I had. There's a boss where he's like a super cool Yakuza guy, and he spawns enemies in the room to attack you, and his thing is that he'll like teleport to the side of the room and sit on a table and sip his drink. And it's like, oh, this would be really cool in a game where with any tension.
If there was actually
he's just sipping his drink while you wail on him and cut off a third of his health bar.
Oh my god.
It's like, no, this isn't giving the effect you wanted. He just seems really lazy and and oh my god, this is as bad. Well, no, I feel like this is more thoroughly a disaster than I anticipated from a famously bad sequel.
Yeah,
this is so completely and utterly devoid of any merit
like
or joy whatsoever. It is a nothing game.
You have to go into something like this, like when you are super galaxy brained people like us that look at video games the way they should be looked at, you go into a game like this and you have there's no possible way a game could be as bad as the discourse around it makes it sound. This game has been trashed since the very day it came out by the actual people that play the video game. And it's just like, how could it possibly be that bad? And this is one of those very rare instances, because I don't think that these instances hold up as much as people think they do. But this is one of those rare instances where it really is as bad as they say.
Like, the only comparable video game experience I can even think of was playing through Sonic Forces. Sorry, Rhett.
Well, you haven't played Sonic 06 yet.
I am positive Sonic 06 is better than Sonic Forces.
That game is a delight for a lot of reasons. Like, you can act the thing with Devil May Cry 2 is that it's one of those games where it's bad, but it's also not bad in a way that I can actually sit here and enjoy what's happening.
You can't Sonic 06, there's 3 routes, and then at the end of it, you're all in space together fighting a boss as this big orchestral redoing of the title theme plays. Yeah. And that's something. And you get something out of it.
The dumbass things that are going to happen to you because the game is such a buggy mess over the course of a Sonic 06 playthrough, you're going to laugh at this shit because going in that you're not playing a finished product. You're not going to be bored playing Sonic 06. Yeah. You will be engaged. You will be laughing. It will be a good time, I promise you. With Devil May Cry 2, it's just there's no soul. There's nothing.
Yeah. You're right. I think it is a better Sonic Forces is a better comparison there because both games function, but they have nothing interesting to say.
Not a big vision, really.
Where Sonic 06 has a vision, but it's just literally not finished.
Yeah.
You will not get 12-year-old kissing the hedgehog in Devil May Cry 2 or Sonic Forces.
Exactly.
The thing about DMC2 is there's that Kamiya tweet. Itsuno joined DMC2 to rescue it from crisis, but it was too late.
It was too late.
Even if I were him, I couldn't have done better than he did. Like, the director of DMC1 is saying this game is a crisis.
And he failed to save it from crisis, and I would have failed too.
I could not have done it.
I could not have done better. It was that bleak.
Like, when the creators are like, wow, this was bad. Like, it's fine. You don't have to defend this one.
So that was my DMC2 experience. Yeah,
the Metacritic reviews for this game are so funny. A lot of the websites are down now because, 2003.
It's 2003, right.
NTSC UK says, one of the most disappointing sequels in gaming history.
Yeah!
I remember, there's only 3 negative reviews. That's one of them. But then the positive ones. GamePro says, what's really missing is the intense edge-of-your-seat close-quarter combat that made the first game so arresting. 80 out of 100 score.
80 out of 100 still. We still gave it a 4 out of 5.
Play Magazine!
Yeah.
Lucia's Tale Alone, a cruel sonnet of self-realization wrapped in a story steeped in religious overtones is reason enough to buy this game.
Oh my god!
100 out of 100 score. They gave it their highest score, like 5 out of 5.
They gave it a 100%.
Lucia's story, like there's a thing there, that's honestly like if we're gonna compare with Sonic Forces,
sure,
maybe that is what would put it over the edge for me. But it's like it is. There's no personality or joy to it, and the dramatic moments land with a big thud because it's a skeleton of an interesting story. There's not actual the good shit isn't there. There's no meat. There's no substance to how it's presented.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worthy of praise for that alone, basically. It's not everybody's complaining about the camera, and I'm like,
that's not
really the problem.
That's not the problem.
Like, I get it. It's not great, but it's not. It's
That is not
literally half of these mention the camera in their main thing.
Oh my! That is not the fucking reason this game is bad, or the reason that it feels bad.
Why do enemies react on gun but not sword? That's backwards.
All right, we could talk about.
I know.
I think we could talk about how awful Devil May Cry 2 is forever.
We could, we literally could, and Rhett could join in, and it would still be valid, even though he's never played it.
No, we just stream it.
Yeah, there we go. We're gonna stream Devil May Cry 2 next week. We're not gonna do that.
No, we're not. I don't want to play this game ever again.
No, like that game is like I don't even know where my copy of that game is. I remember I just remember like I know I threw it in my closet shortly after buying it.
Oh my god!
Because I finished it literally 2 days later, and I remember I'm pretty damn sure I just hucked it in a closet, and I don't know, and I've not been in the same place since, so I don't even know that I have that game anymore.
Who cares?
Who fucking cares?
God. You should have gone to GameStop and just been like, I don't care, give me $20 back for it or whatever.
Yeah,
10,
like that.
Anything.
Just give me anything.
Just take it. Just take it.
Yeah. You don't even have to pay me. Here, just take it.
The curse has been transferred.
Yeah. The Alundra 2.
The Alundra 2 curse. I have DMC Devil May Cry. I'm excited for that one. I think the vibe looks fun.
When you play that, let me know. Yeah. I'll play it through with you.
Cool. Because people really that's a fun thing about playing Devil May Cry is that you get a lot of people's Devil May Cry opinions in your mentions.
Oh my god, that's man. I don't have time for most DMC Devil May Cry opinions, if I'm being honest.
But I heard at least two people who are like, or at least one person who is, well, I think DMC Devil May Cry is even worse than 2, and I'm like,
no, there's no fucking way. No,
absolutely no way in hell.
Fucking way. I've played a bit of that game, and I know that it is in its first 3 stages better than anything in Devil May Cry 2.
I believe it, and I like the attitude. I like the idea of edgy teenager hot topic.
I'm fine with it.
Who swears? Like that sounds great.
It's just an Americanization of what Dante is in Japan.
Yeah, it's cute.
And people don't like that because then it's associated with them because it's coming from a Western developer and it's a Western take on it. It's like, yeah, this is what you look like, you edgy teenager. Oops, they don't like it when you point that out.
And obviously, I can see it failing on its own terms. Sure. Like, that's okay. But the terms that it wants to invite me along on, I'm completely here for. Yeah. And everyone loves 5, so I'm here. And I get to play as Nero again in 5.
Oh, God, he's so fun.
I'm pretty sure in DMC you have a grapple like Nero.
Yeah.
Good.
So
and the arm stuff in DMC 5 is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Also, 4 has the hottest wife.
Yeah, okay. We knew that was coming.
That was very funny when you went like, I knew it!
I knew it! The moment you booted that game up, I knew that, well, there's John's type.
It's like 25 seconds in, like 25 seconds counted in the long play before time to wife.
Time to wife.
There she is!
There it is. Yep.
She sings. She's cute. She's a priestess. She's like,
she's probably
she and Nero obviously like each other in a really cute way.
Yeah.
When he's late to her thing, and then she looks over and you expect him to not be there, but then he is there. He made it in time to hear her sing, and you're like, well, I'm invested completely, body and soul in this. Oh, life is good. 5-minute break?
Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute break. We will be right back. Hang tight.
Hello.
Hey!
How's the new wife?
Man!
I just can't help myself looking at anime girls all day during the podcast.
That's a real good one.
I got some more for later, but that's the best one.
Man!
I saw that, was just like, oh!
Is that an original or is that a character?
No, it's a character. That's why there's more art of her.
Oh god.
Let me just at you on main right here.
Oh yeah. All right, let's do it.
Because when you got like 8 pictures to send, can't just.
You can spare one or two.
I'm back.
Hey, John.
Yesterday, me and Rhett found somebody that just retweeted a lot of good anime girls, and we just went down their feed for 20 minutes DMing each other.
Oh my god, that is the cutest thing
on Saturday night.
This feed was just nonstop Fate, Ruby, Simple Gear, and Ganyu from Genshin Impact.
Oh my god,
just banger after banger.
They call him banger because you want to bang him, right? Is that how that works?
Okay, I sent you a tweet, Polly.
Okay.
And then they would work in little extra cuts.
Oh, dude.
There would be a really nice one of the Gravity Rush girl. And I'm like, oh, I know that Red likes her a lot.
Man, oh man.
Is that Asuna?
This one's
no.
This one's good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Just completely distract Polly for the podcast.
I'm just.
This is Girls Frontline.
Y'all can do the rest of this episode.
John with the reverse image search very quickly.
I got a plugin that lets me do that now. I just right click it and I'm like, boom, image search.
Oh, that retweet, man.
Sauce now.
Girls.
Mine?
Girls.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was one of your recent retweets. Life is good.
Yeah,
it was very cute, Polly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very wholesome.
It's very, very wholesome.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're. Hold on. I'm just gonna look at the tab one more time. Oh,
perfect.
Jesus fucking Christ! That's so much. Jesus Christ! Woo! There's a new one. There's one. She's getting her own folder. It's rare that happens these days.
Is that a gotcha?
Of course it is.
Of course it's a gotcha.
Look, it's rare. It's rare that a girl gets her own folder these days. Because I don't save images anymore. I ain't got fucking time to worry about it. Because I'm going to see something else a day later. So, she's reached Mona level where I've got a folder. It's
been 30 seconds.
I got it.
I saw an interview with Mona. I saw an interview with the president of MiHoYo, or a very lead figure there. And he was literally saying other competitive games make you pay money so that you can get competitive advantages in the game. We decided that what really connects with people is paying for girls that they like. You just said that. In an interview.
Just
people pay for the ability to feel a connection with a lady that they like something saying it this very beautiful sounding way. It's yep, correct. That's how you have this challenge to a fucking science now, everybody.
Nobody's playing the game as devious as Genshin is right now, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They've got this locked down. They have a style that is very targeted, even though I'm sure that it's not. They didn't go, man, I bet we could get Polly with that. Because I'm still not going to play your dumb game. I know what it is. You're not going to get me. But I am going to
it's like Breath of the Wild, ew.
But I'm going to save a lot of images from it.
A lot.
Believe you me. No, believe me, though. Mona got a folder just as fast. Look, man. Body stockings are going to do it almost every time.
I feel like I've really just developed an appreciation for like the art of this
the
kind
art of creating
appeal.
this kind of horny.
Yeah. Because it's like it's so much more than like just like a sexy swimsuit or whatnot. There's just this whole science to it that's fascinating to me.
Like every detail of this girl has been labored over to make her the most appealing. And that's how these things roll. That's how they roll. They have created. They have stumbled upon a dark science that
we like
a forbidden alchemy.
A forbidden alchemy. It's.
I feel like Toho is still kind of the blame to all of this.
I think so because Toho. There's a Toho for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's not even. And Toho's not even like horny.
No,
it's pure like appeal. That's like divorced from that.
Yeah,
but you still like.
But they have found a way to capture that, and then mix in horny,
and then fucking crossbreed it with horny.
Yeah, and then
to create this unholy chimera,
and then dump in a whole vat of capitalism behind it.
Oh, look. You can focus in on how twisted it is, which it obviously is.
It is.
But you can still appreciate the artistry.
The amount of art being generated every day is just unreal.
Look, man, this is one of those times where I'm like, I spent 10 years looking at images I don't give a shit about. I am not going to care about any of these characters. I am now, for having endured 10 years of Twitter and the constant posts of games or characters that I didn't care about, it's my time to shine. It's my turn to savor. It's my turn to enjoy this Last Supper.
This is 10 minutes of great content.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's staying.
Absolutely.
It has to stay because I've got a transition. I watched the Uma Musume, the horse girl anime.
Yes!
That also has a gacha game.
Horse girls! Oh, you mean that horse girl anime. I have to say it like that or people will think that I like it. And that'll be cringy.
Okay, so...
Go for it, Rhett.
This one's going to be a bit of a journey. In 2000... Oh my god, I almost said 2008 because we're old. 2018, there was an anime called Uma Musume Pretty Derby. Mm-hmm. And it did the thing that a lot of anime around the time were doing, where take concept, make it all cute girls.
Right.
Like, there's one show where it's like a gun club, or like all the girls are guns.
Yeah.
Like, so this was, they take like racehorses, and they make them all the cute girls.
Oh man, this is so weird to me.
It's so goofy. Everyone just immediately mocks the shit out of it, in the West at least. I'm sure it was probably pretty popular in Japan.
It's so... Like, I don't... Okay. I can't fully comment on this, because we'll get into it. I've only watched 2 episodes of this show. Yeah. But what I watched was, like, there are normal people that aren't horse people.
Yeah.
And then there are horse girls who seem to only race for the non-people's enjoyment.
Yeah.
And that feels really fucking weird to me.
Greg, can you just tell us if the horse girls are, like, enslaved?
Like, is that, like, I don't... Oh, God, it's so weird.
Do the horse girls have rights, Rhett?
They don't not...
You didn't answer right away!
There's no straight answer to this!
The horse girls don't have rights. Oh
no. Okay, so I was setting up though is that I didn't watch season 1 when it aired.
Okay.
3 years later, hey, there's a second season now, and immediately the buzz around it is way more positive. Like I'm hearing people saying, "Oh, season 2, it's really good now." Blah blah blah, and then of course in my feed I start seeing,
the explosion of fan art.
No. Some animators from Symphogear worked on season 2.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, so it's like, it's high expectations. And then, like, right as I was starting to watch it, then the explosion of fan art has started to occur.
This literally, I started seeing horse girls on my feed out of nowhere, and I didn't know that this was a thing.
Even Polly is being inundated with this.
I was just, what is this?
That's the thing, is like season 1 did not hit like this.
Like, I'd never heard of it. Like, I never saw piece of fan art 1 when season 1. Like, I didn't know about this show until literally Monday of last week.
Which is probably like right when season 2 ended.
God.
Or maybe a couple weeks after. But, so season 2 is getting some traction. Yeah, I start seeing, like, I follow artists who are generally known for Love Live and Symphogear, and they're all turning to drawing horse girls now.
Yeah.
This artist I follow who is like only ever drawn Hibiki fucking starts drawing Rice Shower, and I'm like, okay,
well, okay, this person has good taste.
Oh, extremely good taste, but it's just weird watching like everyone make this pivot at once.
It's so it's just so out of nowhere. This is like the Bowsette thing, but weirder.
Because it's horse girls.
Because it's horse girls. Like, I can wrap my brain around Bowsette to some degree, but then, horse girls are literally everywhere, and it's just like, there was already a pony show that's got a bad stigma around it. What's going on here? Is this a new...
It's been just long enough that
when I saw this, I thought, like, is this like the when they did a Japanese Powerpuff Girls...
oh my God.
Anime was like, is this the My Little Pony anime or something? I really thought that's what this was, and then Red explained to me no, it was supposed to be an anime for a phone game. Then they delayed the phone game.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say next. Is that apparently? So I start watching season 1 after all this hype has been built up, and the very first things is the Psy Games logo.
Yep.
And I think, they're the developers of Grand Blue Fantasy, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is the
Dragalia Lost. Sorry. Also, Dragalia Lost.
Okay. See, I didn't know that one.
Doesn't matter. I had a bit of gotcha trivia that I was going to share. Continue.
Yeah, it's important that they are a gotcha company, kind of first and foremost. But then they did this anime about horse girls with no gotcha game. Because what I found out later is that there was a game in 2018 that they went, no, this isn't good enough, and have been retooling it for 3.5 years.
Holy shit.
To make the perfect horse gotcha game.
Yeah. You gotta have the perfect horse gotcha game.
The Starry Flowers of horse gotcha.
Yes, the Undertale of horse racing game.
So season 2 is really their second attempt at a vehicle to move the gotcha game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this explosion in popularity, it's not because season 2 is better. It's because it has a gotcha to go with it now.
Yeah, these characters, you can own these characters now. You can feel an attachment to these characters now.
You can have them kick you in the face.
Oh, good.
Can you actually?
No, there's a video of one of the Hololive girls playing this game, and then she wins a race, and the horse girl runs up and does a drop kick into the camera.
See, I've seen that in GIF form, but it was of Chirno doing it.
Huh. So of course, now you've made it. You're getting Toho parodies.
Yeah.
So the show, the season 1 it's fairly basic story wise, and so this is where the whole do they have free will stuff starts to come up. Where the story in season 1 is that so these are all based on real horses, so they all have real weird names.
They all have weird names, and they all have real world lore behind them.
Yeah, and some of them died on the racetrack because they broke their leg.
They were euthanized on the spot.
It's the funniest one for me. the anime girl horses. It's so tragic.
So season 1, they ride around that pretty...
There are no horse girl euthanizations.
Yeah. So the main character in season 1 is a girl named Special Week. And she's from the countryside. Her mother passed away, so she's been raised by a human mother. And her dream is to become the world's, or Japan's fastest horse girl.
Mm-hmm.
So she they're saying how she lived kind of in the suburbs. She doesn't know any other horse girls, and then she goes to this prestigious school now for all the horse girl races.
I don't like. Oh my god! It just sounds so stupid when you start saying it, because my brain starts going, "Well, how are horse girls a thing in this world? How did this happen? Why are horse girls and where are the horse boys? Is this what's going on?"
You're right.
Okay,
so that's you're right. There's no horse boys.
Oh my god!
So I was going to get to this a little later, but I guess it is kind of the main point of discussion here, is that the world, the lore, is flimsy as fuck. It does not
really, Rhett. I'm shocked.
Well, that's one of the things that was really keeping me back from enjoying this, is that the premise is so bad and they don't really do a lot to make it in any way believable.
Yeah.
Where it's just
like, there's a way you could jump me into this story. It's just you're not trying to.
They don't do that because I don't think they really had much of a story.
Like, they had this idea for a game, and then they approached an animation studio and said, "Make this." And the animation studio threw their hands in the air and said, "Well, it's a paycheck."
And then the game got delayed, so the anime came out by itself.
And it just, man. How did you... Man. Okay.
So,
all right.
Oh, there's an even better twist at the end of the first episode. So, our main character, Special Week, she goes to the big city, probably Tokyo. They might it's all real world stuff, probably. She goes and watches a race, and she meets Silence Suzuka, who is wins the race she's watching and becomes this girl's idol. And then when she goes to school, that ends up being her roommate as well.
Aw.
So, those are the two main characters in Season 1, is Special Week and Suzuka.
Yeah. Good.
There's also a thing, though, where, the winners of the races then perform an idol concert.
Oh, I don't understand.
It's just the most,
we just had to have that element because all fucking games need an idol element now, I guess.
It's bizarre in the anime, because I think maybe this is some leftover remnant of the original phone game that got
nixed or something?
That basically got killed, because they never really do a lot with it in the anime. They present the fact that they're gonna do a concert. They show the three winners of the race, the top three up there, and then immediately cut away. And then in the second or third episode, Special Week wins her race, and it's really unexpected. And then they put her up on stage, and she's just I haven't practiced singing at all.
I don't know.
So she's just a dead fish up there, basically, staring at the audience, and they're just
why are you not entertaining us, weird horse person? That is specifically the reason you are existing right now.
Yeah.
Boy, this feels so weird.
So they do this idol thing for the first couple episodes, and then drop it entirely until the season finale.
Right.
So it's
so good.
It's so weird. And then Season 2 doesn't acknowledge it at all until the last episode again. So it's just it's still a thing. We're still not really ever fully committing to it. It's just an excuse to have a song at the end of each season.
Right.
This is deeply funny, Rat.
Oh, believe me, I knew that this was why I had to go full into why this series is so fucking strange.
Okay.
So yeah, the show is not immediately winning me over. It's just just painfully painful levels of suspension of disbelief to get into these characters at all.
Not to mention sports anime.
I mean, sports anime can be good. I just haven't really ever watched any because my mind goes, "Oh, if you're not into the real life,
yeah,
sport,
that's why would I watch it?" Right.
I really like Yuri on Ice.
I've watched Ping Pong by Masaki Yuasa.
Right. Yuasa is good stuff.
And that's pretty good. So again, I'm not actually very down on sports anime. I think they can be good. I just it's a blind spot for me.
Sure.
So the school setting, also they introduced way too many characters right away, and you're just and they all have silly names, and you're just okay, I'm going to focus on Special Week because it's overwhelming. She joins a club called Spica, and there's 5 girls in the club, and it's okay, this is a more manageable number of characters. And of course, Suzuka is also in the club with her. And they have a manager, and the manager does this thing where he touches their legs and then they kick him in the face.
Appropriate. That's the good. That's the appropriate response to that situation is to kick somebody in the face.
Yeah, so it's kind of a harassment thing, but then they have very strong kicks because they're horses. Ha ha
Yeah.
ha.
Ha ha ha.
Fucking God.
They do drop that in season 2 because the team is in both seasons. They drop that at least. He doesn't touch the girls inappropriately anymore.
Thank God.
So first half of season 1, really not winning me over a whole lot. And then somehow, about halfway through, like I really liked what they did with Suzuka's arc. And unfortunately, this is where they also deviated heavily from real life events because the real Silent Suzuka horse fell on the racetrack, broke a leg, and was immediately euthanized.
Yep. One of those, you can't move the horse to make it happen, we just have to do it here.
Don't Google your anime waifus. So in the anime, at least, they have her, suffer an injury and then have a recovery arc.
Yeah.
And then her, triumphant comeback race that didn't happen in real life, obviously.
No, for unfortunate circumstances.
I'm sorry, I keep laughing at the dead horses.
No, I know. That's the thing. It's like this show doesn't make me like horse racing because when you Google these characters and then go, oh,
they're all dead or probably going to die very early.
Yeah, like it's so hit or miss. Like the real life special week actually lived to 2018, like slightly past the premiere of the anime.
Yeah,
because he ended up being a stud for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty happy ending, I feel like.
That's a lot of happy endings in 20 years, John.
But then you look up Silent Suzuka and go, oh, died in 98 on the racetrack. Cool. Extremely cool. So one of the flimsy world-building things for me, though, is I mentioned how they joined this club called Spica.
Mm-hmm.
The only characters that ever race are Special Week and Suzuka. Because they're basing all these characters on real-life horses, and they're basing all the races on real races.
Yeah.
For the most part. The other characters in that show didn't race in like the 97-98 time period that they're adapting in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have like 5 characters just kind of standing around like doing training but never actually racing the story. Yeah. And that's really frustrating to me. So then the final episode of season 1, at which point the show has won me over and I'm like, okay, I like this now. The final episode of the series cheats and just has literally a dream race where all the characters of Spica and all the characters of the rival team, who have basically all been standing around the whole season, they get to do one big race together.
Aww.
And then they all compete and they all do an idol song together. Oh. It's the most like... It feels like fan service.
This is
it's so goofy.
Yeah.
But it was nice that, hey, those other characters in Spica got to actually do something for once in the entire season.
Yeah.
So then season 2. So season 1 has won me over. Mm-hmm. And then season 2, amazingly, immediately loses me right away at the start.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So season 2, I knew this was coming, but it wasn't as weird as... It was weirder than I thought it was going to be. Is that the main characters in season 2 are also members of Spica. So now it switches over to Tokai Teo and McQueen, who were standing around the whole season 1.
Oh, jeez.
And what's weird is that the crowd in season 1, everyone knew who Special Week was.
Right.
And she was the favorite because she's the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately in episode 1 of season 2, the whole crowd, everybody knows Tokai Teo. She's the most popular.
What?
And it's just this immediate
That's such
shift.
a weird disconnect.
Yeah, it just so immediately takes me out where it's like, again, with the whole world just starts to feel flimsy.
Yeah. Like this can just be whatever at this point.
Because I was thinking about it where it's like, in Love Live, idol competitions and like the whole school idol thing, it's very important. It does not feel like literally the only thing that exists in the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where in this show, horse racing feels like the only thing. Horse girl racing, of course.
Yes,
obviously.
only horse girls.
Only horse girl racing feels like the only thing that exists in the world. There's no side hobbies. There's nothing else.
We haven't made baseball horse girls yet, Rhett. Come on. We haven't domesticated those yet.
God.
Growing them in the vat.
Yeah.
So there is a weird part later in season 2 where it's like one of the girls is told she is never going to be able to race again, and she's just like, well, what do I do with myself now? And it is like, well, show, you better answer that.
Yeah, you need to kind of give us an answer here.
And they really don't.
No, no!
Well, she just fucks around for a day and like goes and hangs out at like the arcade and plays Dance Dance Revolution and shit.
Oh, there you go.
I am adrift in a world that was not built to sustain my existence beyond this sports conflict.
Because there's no answer to, do horse girls do anything besides race?
That's so weird to me.
It's just frustrating how the world, how flimsy it is. And it's like, maybe I'm too hung up on this because...
No, I think that it's valid because it's such like... There's no explanation as to why it's only horse girls that are racing. Where are the horse boys? Why aren't humans racing? Like, there's no explanation for any of this. If this was just an anime about horses that could talk, we would have less questions.
Because they'd be horses. So, season 2 kind of starts off on a rough foot because... everybody loves Tokai Teo now, and Special Week. So all those other characters in Spica, Special Week, I guess it's just her because Suzuka, the one who died in real life, she goes to America. Yeah, she's not in season 2.
It's all just gone.
She
transferred out.
Okay. The trickster cat came along.
Yeah.
The other funny thing is that the races they're adapting in season 2 happened earlier, so it's like 91 to 93 races. So there's also time weirdness.
This just feels like we fucked up, but we still have these characters. Like, they didn't want to just make the clean break and say, all right, we're just rebooting this whole shit. Because things are different. Things are different in the game now, so we have to fucking change it. And they didn't want to make that clean break for some reason, so there's all these weird remnants from season 1, even though the races that we're now talking about are 5 years earlier.
Well, so, like, this is only stuff I know because I read the forums and kind of figured it out. Like, because someone was asking, why do the other girls in Spica never race? And then it's like, oh, because they actually existed at different time periods. Like, the show doesn't tell you at all. You have to figure it out. There's one weird thing where, like, McQueen and Gold Chip, who's one of the other Spica members, are actually, like, one of them is the other's grandfather in real life. Yeah, it's weird.
Oh, God.
So, again, I think the weakest part of the show, both seasons, is the main character. Like, Special Week isn't great. Tokai Teo is not great. I think the side...
See, like Teo seemed like an interesting character from the 2 episodes I watched because she was going through shit.
Who did?
Teo.
Oh, okay.
Like, the 2 episodes that you asked me to watch, I watched them, and her in those 2 episodes, she was dealing with an injury and trying to, like, find her own place because, you know, if you can't run and you're a horse girl, they euthanize you. Yeah. So she has to find a way. She has to find a way to make herself useful in a couple of weeks, or, you know, Dunzo, glue factory. Yeah, it's over.
I don't really dislike her as a protagonist. It's just, it's such a weird shift having watched season 1 and having seen her
and just having a new protagonist shoved down your throat and they're saying, no, this is actually the protagonist.
No, she's the main character.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
Special Week just kind of stands around in season 2 the whole time.
Good, fantastic.
Like, and they, like, forgot to give her a character entirely. Like, she literally will just stand there being like, Desune, Dayone, like, just agreeing
she's
with
literally just say, like, making sounds now.
It's so weird. So the first
you want to think of the rabbits sign of the victory. You bet you've had your world, your personality stolen.
God.
Continue.
So season 2, and the other thing is, like, the thing I'd heard about season 2 is, the animation better, the Symphogear artists, and, like, they start using CG in the races for distance shots, which doesn't look really good.
Yeah.
So, and apparently it's a different studio this time. So, like, the forums were like, oh, this is not going to be as good as season 1. It's, it's a downgrade in this, and this way. I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. I have been bamboozled into watching season 1 to get to season 2, and now season 2 is apparently the bummer season. So first half, it's fine. It's like they're doing the whole thing again. And then like halfway through season 2, they introduce a new character kind of out of nowhere named Rice Shower.
Yeah. I love that they have the horse names. I love that.
Yeah, like they just like it's like the Mary Skelter thing where everybody's got a weird name and like it doesn't seem that there's any reason for it. It's just they're named fairy tales.
So like basically to wrap this up because I think it's probably taking a while. Season 2, the back half is really really good.
Like I watched the Rice Shower episodes in particular, and she has what I felt like is a really good little one-off story about sort of like the struggle that she goes through is very real and emotional in the small amount of time you spend getting to know that character. And they even like do like little like they do a special ending sequence over the end credits in one episode that actually sort of chronicles her life and like growing up, and like it's really effective in 90 minutes the amount of character detail you get and how you come to understand this character, because her whole thing is like she loves elegance, and things that are really elegant are what drove her to kind of like sort of like they sort of drive her sense of style and the things that she's drawn to. And like there's like one scene in particular where it's like the first time like she's just kind of posing in a mirror with her racing garb, and it's just like your brain makes the connect. Oh, that's like the first time she got to wear that, and it's like a cute moment where you kind of put yourself into that character's head for like 90 seconds, and it's just like the character work they did in 2 episodes. Like I was like more invested than I thought I would be, even with like the stuff that Teo was going through, like because like there's a solid arc there where she's like got a leg injury and she's like trying to like she's put into this other role on the team, and she's trying to adapt and like understand and make that work. But then you've got the Rice Shower dilemma where the things that she's going to is really tough. Like it's a really tough thing to deal with, and they knocked that shit out of the park.
Cool.
Yeah. I think the whole time I'd kind of been thinking, I wish they would just focus on one character for a little bit of time instead of making the entire season primarily about, Special Week.
Yeah.
And then Tokai. So, like, the fact that they have these 2 episodes that are really focused on Rice Shower primarily, and are, like, the best 2 in the series, is like, oh, you guys could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, like, I think that is a show where you do 2 episode arcs for every character and give them like tell a satisfying little story with them.
Yeah, because then I think for the other characters that have the habit of standing around doing nothing, like they could have their moment as well.
Yeah, like I would absolutely watch this show if it was more of just like if it was structured like the Rice Shower arc was, which is just like 2 satisfying episodes where we introduce a character, we get her conflict, we understand why she's doing the things that she's doing, then you get your big emotional climax at the end, which is really fucking good. Yeah, like if the show was more that, like I would have gone back and immediately started episode 1 of season 1.
It's just not that though.
No.
Like I think it's just a little too slow paced and a little too slice of lifey between the races.
Slice of lifey, middling, because apparently it sounds like nobody knew what this thing was supposed to be.
And there's no world building really.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
It sounds like one where you just kind of where you're not buying into a setting, you're buying into just okay, we're gonna say this is how things are, and we're not gonna really interrogate that. That's
It's and again, this was just a vehicle for a phone game.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, is that it's a gotcha.
Yeah, like this is all it was meant to be, and they didn't really put much more thought into it other than that.
I will say, though, the next big moment after the Rice Shower episodes is there's a girl in season 2 with blue hair and shark teeth. So it's my favorite character design. Obviously, she's adorable, and she's like this persistent dumbass the entire season.
She seemed like a gigantic dumbass.
Yeah. So the fact that they give her a moment a few episodes later made me so damn happy. Nice. And then the eventual resolution to McQueen and Teo was also extremely good. It's like once they hit that, it's so weird because both seasons are kind of like how they do the racing in the show, where you don't immediately, sprint out of the gate. You pace yourself.
Yeah.
It's like both seasons, the first half is kind of slow. The second half rules.
I love that. Weird. I love that. Even though that these are human-like girls, when they're at the racetrack, that before a race starts, they are literally in stables. And shoot out of the dumb stable boxes like actual horse races. This show is stupid.
So choice.
So I noticed that there's one thing in the episodes I had Polly watch is that character called Master right away.
Yeah, we bump into a character like that was not a great first impression where we ran into a character named Master. I've never made Master smile before. Like, oh my god, Rhett, what do you have me watching?
Live up to Master's expectations. So Polly just immediately has this mentality ingrained in her going into the show, whereas because I didn't have that because I watched season 1 where, it's a girl from the country. She wants to go be a racer. Like, there's some, freedom there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is that the Master is voiced by Kiryu in the Yakuza, so his voice is deep and intimidating. But he only has, 3 scenes, and I don't think he talks in the one Polly saw.
Nope, he just walks in, doesn't smile, girl feels bad.
Oh no!
It's so fucking weird. Like, you can imagine my first impression when that is literally the first 3 minutes of I've never made Master smile. Oh, it just feels bad.
That's one word for it.
Oh, the goose came back.
Yo, what's up, Goosey pal?
That's when I laugh while inhaling.
I know, I love it. I love it, though.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to mention is that one scene where, McQueen is, hesitating to go into the stable.
Yeah.
Boy, that one is super awkward.
That feels and, that somebody just comes along and pushes her in.
I mean, it's weird, because I think, that's never a thing that really becomes an issue as comes up before or after again in the show, is that one of the girls refusing to go into the stable.
Yeah, but she's just standing there not wanting to go in, and somebody comes up, grabs her by the shoulders, and pushes her forward.
Because she's a horse. That's what you do. That's our horses, Polly.
I'm sure, my vision of this show is that my kind vision of the show is hoping that this was one of the producers was super into horse racing in the 90s,
right?
And they want to adapt these races that meant a lot to them into anime girls to make it popular, and probably McQueen refusing to go into the stable as the horse expected to win that race was probably a big deal at the time, where you could see he was on edge,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was freaked out by how cool Rice Shower is.
Right, who wouldn't be? Because Rice Shower is pretty fucking cool.
Rice Shower... John, you want to know the coolest shit in the world?
Yes.
Have you seen Rice Shower's design? The kind of small goth girl?
No, I'm pulling it up now. Go ahead.
She's the one with the sans eye.
Yes, okay, yes.
The coolest shit in the world is that right at the end of the race, her hair blows up and you can see the other eye, and it's also sans eye.
It's so good!
It's unbelievable.
Watch episodes.
Oh my god, I have seen Rice Shower so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch episodes 7 and 8 of season 2. It's really good.
Hey, Red, why did you tell Polly to watch the bit of the horse show, and you didn't tell me to watch a bit of the horse show?
Polly completely independently started DMing me art of Rice Shower.
Yeah, I was like, who is this character?
Okay.
She's fucking
Before she
awesome.
knew it was a horse, I think.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking awesome. This character's
Like,
great. And then you got to her episodes and they ended up being the best.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Polly's just like, who's this cute goth character I've seen? And I'm like, oh my god, she's a horse.
Oh no! Because see, my brain did not notice or acknowledge the horse ears at first. My brain just saw hair, and then like you were like horse girl, and I was like, man, why so many cute anime girls I like gotta be like, okay, I like a dog, I like a bug, I like a cat,
Fetish all the way down.
I like a rabbit. Like, what the fuck? Now I like a horse. I've literally, like, guys, I'm not a furry, okay? I'm not.
I know what vision of this show I want.
Oh, no.
And it's just a straight adaptation of, like, cool horse races. where it's everything is the same as a horse race, but they are just girls. And nobody acknowledges it, and there's no world building. They're just horses. It's like they are horses, and everything about them is horses, except they just look like
look like girls.
That's not that far off from
the show. It's really not, though. Like, it's, like, just from the 2 episodes I watched, the way these characters are, like, they are so in another world than every other human being on the fucking planet. It's bizarre.
There's some scenes where Tokai is, like, going around town and people are, like, treating her like a celebrity.
Yeah.
Like, can you sign this for me? Can you take my picture with me? It's so...
I love it. Weird. I love that they actually have specialized shoes.
Oh,
yes.
They actually have... But they're not horseshoes, but their shoes have, like, horseshoe, like, implements on the bottom.
Yeah.
There's a really good gag in season 1 where they use a phone, except they don't have human ears.
Oh my god!
They have the ears on the top of their head, so the phone is very long.
That's it. I fucking love this show. That's it. I love it. I'm never gonna watch it, but I love this show.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Twitter and the top thing on my feed is McQueen and Teo.
I just saw that.
Jesus.
God in heaven.
I just wish they did better job with the character building, though.
Right.
Because, like, the fact that these 2 main characters in season 2 stand around doing nothing in season 1 just fucking kills me. Like, it's the inconsistency.
Beepners like me, I can feel my soul leaving my body at the description of this show.
It's a fun watch.
It's what? God,
I believe it.
So that's what I've been up to. I knew that was a journey we wanted to go on.
I so wanted to go on that journey with you, Rhett.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing.
I had thought about over the course of the week how this segment would go, since I knew that this was one of the things you were probably going to talk about, and it exceeded my expectations.
For what it's worth, I cried so much at the end of season 2.
Yep, I believe it.
God, go watch episode 7 and 8.
Which episodes, Polly?
7 and 8 of season 2. Go watch those.
All right,
they're very good.
C. Sans horse.
Yes. Why does she have a knife in fan art, by the way?
I have no idea.
All the fan art I see of her, she has a knife unsheathed, and I'm like, is that her thing? Like, she races and stabs people? Because I love it.
No.
I love it. But why? Why does she?
When they're running, I always was like, oh, you could just punch the other girl.
You could, yeah. Like that's like, oh, God. But horses can't punch.
Yeah, there's none of that in the show.
What a thing. I'm glad that this show exists.
Mm-hmm. Deeply glad.
Oh, God.
Anime.
It's so good.
So good. Give me 1 second to go get some water.
Okay.
I laughed too much.
Horse girl knife Garcia. Give her Garcia's hitbox from Streets of Rage. It'll be great. Ugh, anime. What are you gonna do about anime, Rhett? Like, what can you? Like, I don't know what you do with anime after this. Like, we've got like I don't know how you ever top a concept like this. Because there's no fucking concept to it. Look, the concept is just, well, there's horse girls and That's it.
I think the reason the concept is so funny to me is that human racing does exist. Like,
why? Why is it a separate thing that they should literally be able? Like, is this like they? Oh my! There's like
I think they'd be way faster. They seem very fast in the show.
Oh, this is getting real.
Holly, they're horses. Of course, they're faster.
I don't
understand why this is hard to understand.
You got a point.
I feel like every lore question so far that's come up is, I'm just like, y'all, they're fucking horses. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, for what it's worth, when they're really racing, they're really doing the big dramatic races, like, they seem extremely fast and cool and powerful.
Oh, yeah. Like, you would, like, if one of them ran into you, it would not be, like, you would break at least 15 bones.
Red just getting sucked into the Equestriverse.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I think the show works for me because have you ever seen that image that's like 10% furry, 90% furry? Like, these girls are like 5%. They have ears and tails, and that's it.
Yeah.
They're just human girls with headbands on.
Yeah, they just got headbands on. It's fine. They got horse hair. They got horse ear headbands on. It's fine.
They are property. They are.
Oh my!
They do not have rights.
They just don't say what they are.
This is
I don't even think they ever say what happened to Special Week's mom.
Oh god! Oh god! That brings up a whole slew of other weird man. There are probably answers to this universe we are not ready for the answer for, and that's probably why they don't answer them.
I think.
Well, I want the version of the show where the finale is the character getting tragically put down.
Oh,
just imagine they're still cute anime girls, and they just get like shot in the head or something.
Just come out like a girl's like crying her eyes out on the track. She's broke her leg, split it through the skin. They're just like, there's nothing we can
really
do.
Gory and painful. Like they really make it hurt.
Doctor comes out, pulls out a syringe, and just says, "There's nothing we can do."
Fuck off.
Like covers her eyes, injects her in the neck. She slowly stops moving, and
final episode credits. Just silent white text over a black background. The end.
The end.
God damn it! Killing Horse Girls is so funny to me.
Oh God, we're evil. I don't know that we come back from this. How do you pull back from horse girl euthanasia and laughing about it? I don't know that we can. I can't save this
because I really liked Suzuka. When I found out that the real horse died, I was upset.
You gotta be real bummed about that. This is almost like how Strike Witches and all the characters are modeled after famous pilots. Oh boy, that's weird.
Isn't Chuck Yeager still alive, or he was?
He was at the time of Strike Witches, and I think somebody showed him, and he was just like,
God.
"Yeah, okay."
Hey guys, I have an even funnier one.
Oh good, John.
The horse girl's just shitting on the track.
I can't. I'm fucking done. This episode's over. I fucking can't.
I'm gonna cry.
Woo! Oh man.
You see it in my mind's eye, and it's awful.
It's.
Okay.
Oh, we're good.
I've already gone through my water.
We're.
And we're gonna need it because my next section's a doozy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh wait, I think Polly's next. Actually,
yeah.
Go
All
for
right.
it, Polly.
All right.
Anyway,
I need a break.
I'm good.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know. It's all downhill from here, folks. That's the high point.
You watched so much good stuff.
That's the high point of this episode. Like, my segment's not going to be that good. Y'all could probably go home now. It's fine.
Sometimes it's not about being good. It's about sharing good media.
Exactly, and I'm about to do that.
Absolutely.
Because I think that, like, of all of us, I basically just had nothing but bangers this week.
Bangers, yeah.
Just bangers.
I think we're all bringing nothing but bangers here.
Oh yeah. Devil May Cry 2 was a banger. I mean, you shoot a lot in it, so bang bang.
Sure do.
All right.
And then I started blasting.
Then I just started, and then just put Dante in that meme. That's it. That's Devil May Cry 2. A horse girl death will forever be in poor Moogie's head. We've scarred our dear friend for life. That's why she has the bandage over her eye. She's trying to half not see it. All right. I watched anime. It was probably not as good as Horse Show in retrospect.
Okay.
I'll try, though. So, I watched all of Season 3 of Attack on Titan.
Oh, boy.
I watched Season 2, like, a year or two ago, and I thought it was real boring until, like, the last 2 episodes. Because that second season literally just kind of stays in one place and doesn't do a whole lot. Until right at the very end, and I just kind of, like, it really lost me. So... since I've not wanted to play very many video games, and I recognized that Attack on Titan was still on my Crunchyroll to watch list, I decided to just, all right, let's jump back in it. What could possibly go wrong? And I think, like, within
that show,
I made a very stupid decision to think that going into this show, because I think literally, like, in the first 10 minutes, somebody gets their head fucking blown off.
Oh yeah. Season 3 starts with some murder.
Just fucking done and dusted. Like, this is, hey, you remember Attack on Titan, that show that's not afraid to kill characters? We just put a hole in a girl's head out of nowhere. She was talking 2 seconds earlier, and we just waxed her out of nowhere. So this season has 2 parts to it. The first part is, it's a lot, like, the first part of the show is a lot more slow moving, it's a lot of build up, and it's sort of, and the changes that are starting to kind of take place within the world, as, like, the world, like, and the way that people are governing the world is sort of starting to kind of swallow itself as humanity's noose gets tighter and tighter as this Titan situation is not getting better.
Yeah.
And this, the first part of the second season, it's the tension is still way more believable, but this time the danger, it's less focused on the Titan issue, and it's more on, like, the evil and selfishness that the human side is capable of. And Levi in particular is a big star of this entire season, really. Like, we really get a dive into his character and sort of his motivations, and it's like, he's sort of the character that I never wanted to dive into that much, because he's kind of like that asshole, he's the asshole realist that has to look at things in the really bleak way, but he's also super cool.
He's so cool.
He's so fucking, he's like the lightningest edge boy that ever edge boyed, but it's also just like, he has to be.
Lovely. I think I remember loving Levi.
I want to fuck him. Anyway.
Same boat. He was I think he was the one where there was a serial killer boys love Korean comic.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Right.
That got really popular on Twitter for a little while, where the boy just looked exactly like Levi from Attack on Titan.
Right. Okay.
And it was a good vibe.
That's good vibes.
It's a good vibe. Killing stalking, I think. Continue.
So the first part of the third season, it does a lot of really good build up of the lore. A lot of things with Eren start to make sense, because I feel that, like, he's sort of the part of this puzzle that never really worked for me in this show, is that he's kind of such a nothing protagonist. That it feels like they were trying to make everything about him be a surprise, but it really wasn't a surprise because it's a shonen show and you can kind of see that turn coming anyway. But the way they contextualize the things around him in this first part of season 3, I was pretty satisfied with how it all came together and how we kind of like arrive at the solution we arrive at, like when the climax of this season is starting to kick off and like, you know, we're getting into big coup d'etat of the government shit going on. Feels real good. Like you really start feeling it's like, okay, we're starting to get our shit together. This is real dicey because it's like, oh boy, military rah, we're gonna take over the government shit.
Yeah,
it's dicey, but like they do everything I feel that they can to contextualize it in that like we're doing this because the person that needs to be in power, like she needs to be in this position for all of this to work. Because the people that are currently like in power, like they're doing nothing but squandering the world's resources. They're hogging everything for themselves. They're thinking only of protecting themselves. And like the fact that we're going after these people and they're being presented as the bad guy and we're not meant to sympathize with them. Good. You're doing things right. You're doing the exact opposite of what everybody told me this show was doing.
Yeah, of course, because there's discourse.
Oh my god, the discourse around the show. I'm not even going to get into that because I've read a bunch of it, and I'm just like, one, who gives a shit? Two, I think the person that wrote that article really doesn't understand who the bad guys in this show are.
Gotcha.
It's like when it's very obvious, like the fascists are the bad guys. And the show is very upfront about saying, these are not the good people.
Your shonen is too complex for you.
Yeah. Oh no, Nert's getting that COVID juice side effects. Welcome, baby. I started getting them in the middle of the podcast we were doing together.
Oh no!
I started getting the fever right when like we had like an hour and a half left, and I didn't say anything to anybody. I was just like, I'm gonna power through it because I'm a champion, like Rice Shower. But yeah, so like season 1 has this really cathartic ending, and then like they do a real fun thing on the last fucking scene after the credits of just like, yay, parade, we won, and then they do this fucking awful fucking flash forward like, no, everything's bad, and you don't know. So that's how they immediately hooked me into watching the second half of season 3, and part 2 is where all fucking hell breaks loose.
Oh my god.
Good shit.
The last 10 episodes of this season do not fucking stop. Every single moment of every single scene, something is happening, and you cannot blink or you will miss it. It's just this show and the animators going berserk for this whole 10 episode campaign to finally take back Wall Maria, which was sort of where this whole thing started, is that Wall Maria got fucked up and we had to retreat. So it's just like, we're taking it back. And like this whole campaign of how they set this up. They're really good at writing out war games to have just a lot of intensity, a lot of danger, a lot of fantastic action. Just, man, it just lives and breathes the whole time. It's bloody, it's fucking ugly. Like, it is a literal war of attrition with lives just being thrown away by the bucketful all over the fucking screen. Like,
sounds like the Attack on Titan I fell in love with in 2014.
Yeah, that's literally what this is.
Awesome.
And you finally, like, we finally get to the basement. And that's another thing that we've been trying to do since the start of the show, is that Aaron has this key to the basement. And she's like, well, fucking, we have to go there. And you keep thinking the whole time, well, why don't we just fucking go there then? So, like, they blow, like, 90 to 100 lives on getting to this one place, and you finally get into the basement. And like, you get into a climax that changes the entire fucking shape of the world.
Holy shit.
It turns the entire fucking series on its head. And it doesn't do that as a cliffhanger. It then goes into the exact history of how all of this came to be. And it's absolutely phenomenal. It's so fucking well done. God! Like, I was so, like, for like a year, I was kind of wary of coming back into this show just because of the way that this show has been talked about over and over, about how it's fascist propaganda. And it's just like, I don't see that at all, because this show is in no way glorifying the fascism. It's literally pointing to and saying, this is bad and doesn't work. God.
Like, I think I remember people saying that maybe the creator is active politically in bad ways.
He idolizes some general who holds in very terrible nationalistic point of views. And he apparently based a character off of that. I don't really feel that this show is pushing an agenda, though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is just like I'm sure that there are things it's trying to say, but I feel it's more about like this dangerous situation full of a lot of tension in a world that is very scary and a humanity that is literally on the brink of dying, and you're teeter-tottering between that. And it's just like, I'm more than willing to say that maybe I'm stupid and don't get why some people would find this horribly offensive. Maybe I'm stupid. I'll cop to that. Fine. But I still enjoy it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like the thing is like maybe characterization in this show is not the best part of it, because characters kind of like everybody has that militaristic dulled personality of where like, this is all we can really focus on. Like, we are like the protectors of humanity. We are the ones leading this. Like, there's no room for levity here, right? But I still think that like what's here is so good at making the stakes feel very real, and it still pulls a lot of tension and absolute terror out of a situation where, even though these people can clearly take down these awful hulking titans, it's still like life is still absolutely and unbelievably fragile in this show, and that keeps you on edge every second. And man, I mean, they've got a lot to do. The way this season ends, they've got a lot of work to do, and I'm super here for wherever they're going, you know, to the end. Like, I'm already hooked in, like, but I'm not gonna jump in right now. I think I'm probably gonna either wait till part 2 of the final season is airing, or I'll wait till it's all finished and then just shotgun the whole thing. I marathoned season 3 in like 2 days. So
awesome.
It's crazy.
That's how invested I was. Like, I was very much here for it.
I did the very dumb thing of watching season 3 part 1 when it was the only one that had aired. And you get to that cliffhanger ending and just go, fuck!
I messed up!
Yeah, like, you get to that, like, that after credits scene, and then, like, the flash forward of, like, oh, God. What happened? Yeah. Why are there bodies everywhere? Who did this?
It's so... Season 3 part 2 is, like... It was funny because you just saw the whole anime community just turn around and go, actually, no, Attack on Titan is good. Holy shit.
Yeah,
not
like,
just
that
good,
is...
but like masterpiece level, greatest of the decade level of like phenomenon.
Yeah, like all of the reviews I saw pretty much, like, season 3 part 2 is like, if people weren't invested or weren't 100% on board, this turned most of them around.
Yeah. It's so crazy because you think like, oh, the basement was like a meme for like 5 years because this season.
Yeah.
And you think, what could possibly be down there that's going to be worth all this build
What's going to be worth a 5-year wait? Oh, I know. Let's turn the entire world on its fucking head.
And then it's like 3 episodes of explanation and backstory.
Oh, and it's so gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't describe the despair I was in during this entire season. There was so much despair. There was despair that I was not expecting. I remember coming in. I remember, like, one moment I'm like, man, fuck yeah, Levi's awesome. And then, oh, God, I'm in abject and utter despair right now. This fucking sucks. And that's not related to Levi, by the way. Like, that's not me spoiling anything that happened to anybody. It was just me going from that cool moment of Levi being cool to... Oh, God.
They like to pull the rug out.
Yeah, they never let you have that moment. Very Last of Us-y, where they pull the rug out from under you.
When I talked about this season on a previous podcast, I think I said something like, it sounds like they murdered someone in front of the voice actors to get them to scream and cry this loud.
God. Like you get a lot of Satoko energy where her voice
but
actress,
it's the entire cast.
But it's the entire cast
on each other,
right? Whew. God,
there are some heated discussions.
Yeah, that's man. Yeah, Attack on Titan is very good. I'm real glad I hopped back on that train. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. Because then I look at, like, what was that? Tanya the Evil. And I'm just like, why is nobody calling that? That looks really super fascist. Why aren't you talking about that one? I don't know. I just remember seeing the art and going to Rhett and John.
He looks very fascist.
Going to Rhett and John, I'm just like, is it me? Is this really?
She's the hero. She's the main character.
Yeah, it's real weird.
And then we found out, oh, it's not actually World War II fascist. She's just an extension of World War I. Like, it's in the 1920s. I'm like, but she still looks like a fascist.
Yeah, she's kind of, okay, whatever. Just remember, yep. Well, weird. Yeah. Like, nobody's talking about that one. I guess because it's not the, you're not, like, how many clicks are you going to get by saying this fashy looking anime might be fascist, or if you go after, Attack on Titan, which is one of the kind of like the biggest properties in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they banned Tanya cosplay at some conventions, according to movies.
Oh,
so
God.
That's wild. Okay. But yeah, Attack on Titan.
Gross way that is completely uninteresting, which is weird for an isekai.
Right.
Like there's nothing.
I cannot wait for more Attack on Titan though.
There's more you can watch right now.
I know. There's like 20 episodes or something. I'm just like, I'm not doing it. Nope, I'm gonna resist. Nope.
I think it's like 16 episodes or something. They started early. Like
when is the last core airing?
Like next year.
Oh, fuck off! I'll wait for Corpse Factory, but man, why does waiting for this feel way more painful? Anime NYC.
Okay. Final season is 6. Oh my god, 9 score on my anime list, ranked number 9 of all time. That's pretty good.
That's pretty.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right.
It's got 16 episodes. Final season part 2, which is the worst name ever, starts January.
Oh God!
And I don't want to jinx it, but like I saw some people going, and then final season second half, or final season part 2 second half will be a movie.
I can't do this. I gotta put it out of sight and out of mind for the next 2 years, like I did after season 2. I watched more anime though.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Though? Like the revelations at the end of season 3 part 2 were so big that I just went into full on rewatch the entire series.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to do that myself.
It's so dense and so much, and it affects so much that already happened. Everything's different.
Yeah, like when you unearth all of that shit, suddenly a lot of things, like even just stuff that I do vividly remember from season 1 and 2, just like, oh, there's your context. Oh boy,
yeah. They've really tied together well.
Hey, Rhett, you said top ranked animes. And I was like, well, I know a funny joke. I'm going to go to the most popular page where I know Sword Art Online is number 3 and above Attack on Titan.
Oh my God.
And I looked at the top most popular anime, and since then, Attack on Titan has bumped both FMA Brotherhood and Sword Art Online down 2 spots.
And
it's
fucked!
Now.
Holy shit. Get fucked! Wow!
Both of those shows in particular.
Alright. So Attack on Titan is great. Gonna keep watching that. I watched one more.
Tell us.
Oh man, this one wasn't. I watched this. I watched this entire series over the course of in about 15 hours. I slept obviously between that, but I watched like over half of it last night and finished it at around 1 p.m. today. I watched Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken.
Yes.
The animation, the anime basically. Oh my god. I love this show. Holy fucking shit. Like, this is the anime about 3 girls whose dream is to create anime, and like they do it in their own little club. And yeah, fuck if that makes sense or not in a high school. You have to suspend your disbelief here, because this is Yuasa going absolutely crazy. And oh my god, like, just, if you thought, like, I remember when we watched the OVAs for Little Witch Academia and was just like, man, these guys really love animation. Nobody loves animation more than Eizouken. I've never seen a show more in love with the art of animation and just everything that goes into that process and wanting to explain it to you in terms that make sense. It really wants you to grasp fully everything that goes into the art of animation, be it Western animation, anime, anything. Like, it doesn't just apply to anime, even though these characters are making anime. It's just animation in general is an art form. And this is a show that just outwardly celebrates creativity in such an uproarious and an excited manner. Creativity is held in such high regard in this show that it almost fucking made me cry 2 episodes in, just at how exuberant the you know, not only just the animation itself, but the characters, how deeply into wanting to be part of this creative force and the things that they're into it for. But it's also honest about like that creativity oftentimes requires a lot of hard work, a realistic outlook on like what you can accomplish, and realistic roadblocks that are at the center of achieving your goals, and being able to compromise. And it handles all of that through just the voices of 3 characters, really. The 3 main characters are really kind of just the center, and they kind of highlight almost every aspect of putting something into production and seeing it through. You know, you've got the wild idealist, you've got the person who's very technical, and then you've got the realist who has to keep things grounded. And all 3 of these characters just work really well together. There's conflict, but it's not conflict for conflict's sake. It's not conflict that interferes with anything. It's, you know, it's all still in celebration of arts and animation. Like, and I don't think that you don't even need an appreciation for animation to sort of feel the vibrancy that this show is just exuding, and to kind of get swept away in it yourself. But it's just so, like, for a show that can have a lot of like tension, I guess, a show that can have a lot of drama, it's actually just really positive, uplifting, and really encouraging. Like, it wants everybody to be creative. It wants you to be proud of your creative voice. There was a moment that I think is pivotal, and there is a character, she's a model, and like, she's an actress, and her parents want her to go into modeling and acting, but she wants to be an animator. She has a keen eye for detail. Like, she can, like she's obsessed with motion. And that's like what drives her to do the thing that she wants to do. So like, the cultural festival comes around and they're going to show their anime, and her parents are going to be there. And in any other anime, this would be a big deal. This would be like where the character's like, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to show it. Or, you know, like, there would be this big 2-episode arc where we have to convince her to do it. This character's like, fuck it. I'm going to do it because this is my fucking dream. I'm going to make them realize that this is how I fucking shine. And it's just like, that's such a powerful message to give people. Like, chase your fucking dream. Don't just sit around and let somebody else like dictate it for you. And that's like, that was such a moment to me where it's just like, this show doesn't need that tension to live. This show doesn't need that tension for it to work. There doesn't need to be drama. It can be this uproarious celebration of animation and imagination, and by God, it is, because just we haven't even gotten into just the wild imagination like this fucking show dives into on a constant basis of these characters being swept into the environments that they're imagining, but also like they're perfectly lined up with the real world that they're interacting in. So they're sort of play acting over top of this, like over top of this fantastical vision that they've created, but it's also still part of the real world, so all of the elements are still there together and smushed together, and it's just this ball of creativity and positivity about it's infectious as fuck.
It's so good.
Like, and yeah, like there are so many ways you could fuck up the tone of a show like this, and they nailed it. Like, they literally compromised nothing in making this show exactly what it needs to be, and to be sending the message that it needs and wants to send. And that it's just a beautiful art form, and being creative is fantastic, and you should nurture that. Which makes it and at a funny moment where, you know, you finish a show and you go look at reviews sometimes, and I remember one of the reviews very specifically being like, the imagination portions of the show add absolutely nothing. And it's just like, my dude,
Weird.
That's the point.
That is literally the fucking point, is that you can be so imaginative and so beautifully creative that you can see the world around you as something entirely different. And it's just like, if you are watching this show and you want that removed, what is left? It's just wild to me sometimes that the people that watch these things, I swear, like, I know that I've mentioned it before, but it's just like the way people engage with this stuff sometimes. There's so much shit out there that I don't think I don't think a lot of people are actually engaging with what they're watching, and rather they're just checking something off on a list.
I think a lot of people are just I think there's a lot of criticism out there now that's just very literal. Mm-hmm. Like, people just kind of not really knowing how to read a story.
Yeah, like,
that sounds snooty, but I think that's pretty fair.
Not knowing how to read a story, or trying to apply logic and be literal about everything. When it's like you are watching a show about creating anime that is headed up by 3 teenagers at a high school, and it seems like they never fucking go to class because the only thing that this show focuses on is the making the anime part. Like, you're gonna sit there and tell me that the problem you have is a girl imagining a lamppost turning into a flying missile going into the air. That's your problem? When so much more of this show doesn't make sense. Like, the very structure of the town doesn't make sense. Which is something that they utilize to make their final piece in the anime, is that, like, this town's really fucking weird. It would make a great scene for an anime. And it's just like, that's, like, the way people engage with stuff just drives me fucking mad.
Especially with something that's this joyful.
Exactly. There's so, like, I'm not saying you can't like this show. You can't not like this show. You absolutely can be put off by this. But there is an exuberance here, that there is a level of talent that is being applied to getting these ideas across, that I feel that at least has to be acknowledged. That it's just like, there's a ridiculous amount of imagination going on here, and there's such a positive vibe that, like, to come at it with such weird, like, literality and cynicism just strikes me as, like, purposefully missing the fucking point.
Sort of CinemaSins-y.
Yeah, just like, very CinemaSins-y. Like, very, very Doug Walker-ish.
I think it's all on a lot of our brains because of that very good Folding Ideas episode.
God!
Now I'm thinking, though, about how we just talked about the Horse Girl show, and like, oh, what do they do when they're not racing?
What do they do when they're not animating? And all three characters are fucking amazing, though.
Yeah. The way, like, the really technical minded girl will just look at anything and, like, start making robot designs and then trying to figure out, like, how it all works.
That shit.
Like, trying to make it feel like a realistic part of the universe it's in.
That shit.
Shit's so fucking cool.
And they do this all the time. Like, everything around this girl is an opportunity to be creative, and they just go full fucking ham with it. It's amazing. Like, I've not seen something like this and so uproariously joyous in what it's doing, especially from Yuasa, because a lot of his stuff tends to be very moody.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he just came off of Devilman Crybaby, right?
Yeah. So for this, I want to throw this out there. I saw Ride Your Wave last year and fucking loved it. That movie's nice, pure joy. I watched Walk On Girl last year as well. Very good.
Nice. God, he did another one. He did another thing besides Devilman Crybaby, Aizoken, and Ride Your Wave.
Yep.
He also did something post Aizoken that's really bad.
Oh, weird. He's allowed. He is
allowed a couple of misses. Given everything that I've seen over the years of his,
mm-hmm.
like I can't name anything that I've personally seen yet that I don't like. Like,
mm-hmm.
everything that I've seen of his, I absolutely love.
I've seen Tatami Galaxy and Mind Game too, and I love those.
Tatami Galaxy, Mind Game, Kaiba, just oh my god, just so good.
I'm really excited to see this one. I'm really jealous of you watching all this good anime.
Like it's been a pretty good trip. I have to say that, mm-hmm. like, despite the fact that I have not been into video games at all, like, anime has treated me very fucking well in the meantime. I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I just gave Polly a list, like, these are the 5.
Excellent.
And it's going very well so far.
Yeah.
I like, yesterday when I got up, I was like, hey, Polly, have you watched Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken? I think you'd like it. And then, like, by the end of the day, you've watched it.
Yeah. like Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken has been on my to-watch list for a long fucking time.
It was just funny that I kind of prodded you again yesterday, and then you just immediately blast through it.
I knew 2 episodes in that this show had already, like, it just grabbed me and shook me to my core. Even if you're not an animator, if you are somebody that is just creative or works in a creative field, mm-hmm. like, this is something very special for you, I think, because it's such a celebration of something that I feel being creative is hard. It can feel a little unjoyous at times, especially when it's hard to be creative. And I feel that, like, when I start taking my steps back to being creative, I think that this show is going to, like, be something that I can look at and say, thank you for giving me the right mindset.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah, like,
nice, Polly.
Like, we had an Aizoken cover, like, about this time last year.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so...
Because I think it aired...
It aired January to March of last year. Yeah.
I remember, I think it was Rock Grumbler put it on their best anime of the decade list. And I was like, well, that's a 2020, but I'll allow it because it's really good.
Yeah. Like, absolutely keep it.
Good.
Okay. I've talked a lot about anime and stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and toss it to John. John, send us out with a bang. Come on.
Send some bangers here, I'm sure.
Absolute nonstop bangers here. So the theme I thought I would be bringing to the... Not realizing that y'all had these extremely joyful, wonderful segments. My theme here was going to be dumpster diving. For some reason, the last 2 weeks, I've engaged with a game that everybody hates, and then 2 pieces of media that I hated. That I had already bounced off of midway through, thinking, I fucking hate this. I don't want to engage with this world anymore. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm done. And the first one of those was Fate Grand Order, which I started shortly after finishing Fate Stay Night over 2 years ago, like 2.5 years ago. I'm still on the first season, the first arc, essentially. And the way... And I've told you all about this on the podcast, but the thing with Fate Grand Order, it has a pretty strong little starting chapter, and then it has 5 giant arcs that take like 8 to 10 hours a piece to play through that are just soul-rendingly nothing. They are like a bad webcomic a bad Fate webcomic that that was particularly passionless in its construction. It's like Just like a Zero's parody series of Fate Stay Night that has 300 5-minute episodes somehow.
Oh god.
It is, but in the context of this giant corporate gamble box murder, like soul murder game. Mm-hmm. So it was in many respects, morally and artistically wretched. Yeah. And not something I wanted to continue engaging with, despite the fact that I did, in fact, engage with it for about 50 hours over the course of a year and a half. So, at the end of all that, I was off of it, and then I jump back in, and it's like, okay, I'm at Camelot. This is This is when Nasu starts writing the story again. This is the part that everybody says the story gets good. This is the part that they've adapted into movies. The preceding 5 arcs, which were 3 of them were written by the Fate Apocrypha author, were not adapted into anything. They just skipped them. They adapted the first arc, which was the first prologue, which was Nasu, and then they skipped all the bullshit, and then they adapted Camelot and Babylon.
Okay.
Which are the ones that have the characters you recognize. Like Babylon has the shirtless Gilgamesh and Ishtar Reen, who's Reen but in a bikini.
Yeah.
And I was very excited to get to the good part finally. After literally 40 or 50 hours of engaging with this stupid game. And the way I engaged with it was that I was just mainlining the story. I just wanted to get through the story. I wanted to get to the good start part. I wanted to get to the VN that I wanted to read. Mm-hmm. And the game was an obstacle to get there.
Oh yeah.
And that was how I was engaging with it. I wanted to shortcut my way through it as fast as possible. So I get to Camelot, and the thing about Camelot is that it is also a massive difficulty spike.
Oh.
Right when this and the thing is, the first 3 little chunks of the Camelot arc are really good. There's immediately the prose feels like Nasu, and shit actually happens. The story is intriguing, the premise is intriguing, and then you hit a brick wall boss.
Of course.
And this is like an MMO type thing where you don't just grind for an hour and then you're set for the next boss. What was the problem is that the game was balanced around people that had been playing it on and off regularly for a year. And doing the dailies and doing events and gathering materials and ascending their servants and grinding and leveling their servants. I didn't figure out how to grind and how to level up my characters until 2 arcs in. You see, when you lose in a Fate Grand Order battle in the story, you can spend the premium currency to instantly revive all your characters. Mm. And I didn't understand that each one of these premium currencies corresponded to $1 of money. And I'd be like, sure, let's do it. And whenever I hit a hard part in the story, I'd just be like, fuck it, let's chew through it. Doesn't matter. I'm not playing this as a video game.
I'm sure that's what they want people to do, though. Just spend $5 to get over the brick wall.
Well, no, because it's not fucking fun.
Of course not. You're doing it to get to the story, though. You're not playing it as a video game, right?
They want you to play it as a video game, because if you're playing it as a video game, you're doing the dailies, you're opening the app every time, and that's when you grinded up 5 servants, and that's when you're starting to really consider, okay, I want to get more servants now. I want to get all the servants now, or whatever. I want to get 10 servants to level 90. So they want you to have fun. The intent is for you to have fun, and I was playing it in a way that was not fun.
No.
So part of it is the problem is that the 5 arcs preceding that were garbage trash. And that didn't lead to me engaging with the game very fully, because I didn't have any faith in it. But part of the problem was me, because I wasn't engaging with the game as a game at all. Because I don't play MMOs, I don't play gacha games. I don't know how these things work. I didn't understand.
If you don't regularly engage with these games, they just seem like a hot load of fucking garbage. Honestly.
Yeah, it just seems like nonsense. It seems inscrutable.
Yeah.
It's like Xenoblade. It's like twice as many systems as a Xenoblade.
As a Xenoblade game, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
They're just adding a ton of numbers and systems and grinding to hide the fact that it is very simple number crunching by the end. Are your numbers bigger than the enemies?
I think that there is genuine game design in Fate Grand Order.
Okay. Which is not something you said about DMC 2.
No. I think that when there's a hard boss, you have a bunch of different classes of characters you can go with. They each have their own skills. They each have their own kinds of attacks. There's arts attacks. There's crit attacks where you can... Right, if you do an art attack, it's weak, but it raises your Noble Phantasm gauge, like your limit break gauge. If you do a crit attack, it's even weaker, but it gives you a bunch of crit stars, which increases your chance of critting on the next turn. And then buster attacks don't give you any resources, but they deal the most damage. There's a bunch of little things that go into the fighting, and I think it's genuinely pretty smart. A big part of it is preparing your servants the right way, preparing the characters and grinding them and everything. But there is genuinely a level of actual game design going on here that I think if you engage with it on its own terms, it's satisfying. Because what I did was I raised my party and grinded on them a bunch and figured out their skills and figured out how to use their skills, and then fought this brick wall boss a bunch and figured out how I can best get through it. And it was genuinely really satisfying. And I think I talked to another friend who played this, who jumped into Fate Grand Order after I did and got way further along. Mm-hmm. And he didn't just mainline the story. Because he couldn't, because it was so bad. He said, I could only take a little bit of Higashide bullshit at a time. Yeah. So I would play some of the story. I'd do some dailies. I'd do the event. I'd play through the event. And I played all of the Garden of Sinners event and got the very cool special 5-star Shiki, which I was very jealous of. And if you just play it like that and just kind of sink a little and just actually engage with the totality of it, it doesn't actually take that much time. It's not actually life consuming. Like I played it probably about 10 hours over the last week and a half, and I completely maxed out my party of 6 characters, where before they were way, way lower than that. It's not impossibly demanding just to get to the point where you can, progress the story. Because I did that. I actually rewatched the starting cutscenes from Camelot, because I was like, all right, now I'm in it. Now let's progress through this. Now let's see how this goes. And I don't know, if it's gonna be good. It's killing characters, and it's killing characters who were introduced 5 arcs ago, and that's pretty cool. I'm like, oh shit. The energy of it is very much like, okay, time to do an actual story now.
Oh, well, it took us a while to get here, but we're getting there.
Time to have writing. And like Nasu even did like an interview where he straight up said, like, we didn't realize at the start that we were going to basically like care about the fiction here. Like this was our first.
Yeah, I can believe that. Like we saw some dollar signs and said, press the go button, baby.
Yeah. This was our phone game spinoff.
Mm-hmm. Now $1 billion thing.
Yeah. And then now he's at the other end, and now it's gotten popular, and he's straight up saying like, oh yeah, I want to make the Fate Grand Order Season 2 finale feel like Undertale made me feel. And I'm like, okay,
that's an interesting thing to hear from, Nasu.
He's just like, they're invested now. The fiction matters. They care.
I tell you what, man, money will make you care about a lot.
Yep. It's just like, okay, this is a $3 billion thing now.
Yep.
Why don't I'm gonna actually try to invest in this story. We're gonna pull in the original VN creator, and we're gonna actually care. And if Camelot and Babylon land the way I hope they're gonna land for me, because they're Nasu stories, and he generally makes me happy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be pretty pleased and locked in, because at this point I enjoy playing it as a video game. Yeah. And if I had gotten there way earlier, then the bad story would have been way less torturous because I could have just been actually engaging with it as the fun, dumb MMO thing.
Yeah.
So it took a long time, but I'm there now. And it's exciting and it's pleasing because it was kind of like this lingering open wound in my brain of like I really want to. I know there's something here and I just don't get it.
Yeah,
because it doesn't make $3 billion because people are miserable playing it.
I mean,
because they do it.
That's kind of how I think it does, though. I think you might be ascribing a higher ideal to this than maybe there is. Like, I think whales keep these games going to a ridiculous degree.
I think when people vibe with gacha games and with MMOs, because I'm basically grouping them together in my head, because I think they share a lot of the same basic mechanisms for compelling people to play them. Because the gambling in Fate Go is mostly constrained to getting new party members. It's the act of leveling and making your existing party members stronger is grinding. It's time. Yeah. It's not you don't pour money into a servant. Like when Rhett told me that in Symphogear GX, you had to get multiple copies of a servant in order to raise their level cap. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh fuck, sounds awful. Because that means that you have to spend currency to just get them strong. Yeah. Go ahead, Rhett.
You have to keep rolling the gacha basically. Yeah. Where it's like the drop rates will be better than Fate, but like then you're capped at level 50, and then if you get a second one, then you can smash them together. And now it's level 52. Mm-hmm. And then if you get 5, level 60, and then only then can you do the bump up 10 more levels to get them to level 70.
God.
So like
painful.
Getting 5 copies is like standard, which is fucking insane.
You can if you get multiple copies, you can feed them to each other to raise the Noble Phantasm level. Which is mostly something like most of the good support servants I'm getting from friends online just don't do that, and they work fine. It doesn't feel as essential as getting the level up. It feels like a bonus, and again, it's you feed 1 copy as opposed to 5. So that's still a direct correlation of rolling to power, but the essential act of getting a level 90, level 100 servant isn't. You only need to roll them once. And I've rolled several good 5-star servants that I like without spending a dime. So I'm pretty pleased about that.
Do you got shooting?
What?
She's pretty. Do you have shooting? She's pretty cute.
I don't have shooting.
Shooting, what's the point of even playing the game if you don't have shooting doji? I don't understand. This doesn't compute to me.
Gotta spend that coin. Get that shooting. So I will report back probably in like a month, and hopefully what I will be saying is that I finished the first season and it was really good and I really liked it.
Right.
It's Camelot the end of the first season?
No, it's Camelot and then Babylon and then a wrap up.
Okay.
Climax arc.
There's so much more now probably.
Boy.
There's basically an interlude with like 4 mini arcs, and then there's a second season which is ongoing now. And the second season is going to be the last season. They've said that explicitly, which I think is nice.
That's good.
Yeah, that makes me happy. It's like, there's an end in sight that makes it less terrifying.
Yeah.
So the thing is, my dumpster diving was triggered by the same fucking 3-minute YouTube video in 2 ways. What? A friend linked me this fucking clip from Honkai Impact 3rd.
Oh my god.
Saying, this is some of the coolest fighting animation I've ever seen in my fucking life. And I watched it, and I was like, and then like 4 minutes later, I was crying a little bit. I was just like, oh fuck, this is really, really fucking cool. And then the friend said, this is better than any fight scene in Symphogear. And I was like, yeah.
Oh no!
I've already told that joke to Red. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I do not hear it.
Rhett just like heard a void of silence just now.
So I was just like, I kind of want to play this thing now, but I don't believe that I have the capacity to engage with gacha games or MMOs.
Right.
I don't trust myself with that. I don't trust myself to start a new one. So then that's what prompted me to jump back into Fate-Go. I was like, let's prove to myself that I know how I can engage with these things and have fun.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the Honkai Impact had another effect on me, which is that it was a really cool anime fight that was CG animated.
Oh no!
And it played a really cool vocal rock song over the animation.
I hate this.
And then I listened through like an album of Honkai Impact vocal rock songs that were all really just bangers.
Right.
And I was like,
there's a path of light, path of darkness here, and you took the path of darkness.
I took two paths of darkness here. I took the path into Fate-Go, and then I was just like, well, I can't play Honkai Impact. I can't do that.
All my Symphogear homies play Honkai Impact.
So it reminded me of another lingering open wound in my brain.
Oh God, are you okay?
And it was Ruby.
Oh God.
The Rooster Teeth show, Ruby. So these are both things that I had dropped because I was just like, fuck this, I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. Because the thing is, I got to Camelot and then I spent like 15 to 20 hours grinding over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks.
So you need something to do.
And then still got trounced. And that's when I dropped it for a fucking year.
Yeah.
And then I went back to it and then spent another 10 hours and then I did it. So I was just like, wouldn't it be fucking funny if I watched Ruby?
No, it would not be. Like, why do people think that? Wouldn't it be funny if I did thing that I actively don't want to do?
And then the more I thought about it, it just became more and more intoxicating in my brain. Wouldn't it be fucking funny? And then I got to the point where I had it up on the screen, and I was just like, it's Friday evening. Am I going to burn? I saw that 3-hour runtime for season 6.
Fucking
and I was just
Trash
like,
Boy. Trash Boy's going to do it.
I was just like, I like yelled at my apartment like, who's going to fucking stop me? I'm 27.
No!
I'm in a room by myself. If I want to do this, I'm just gonna fucking do it, and nobody can stop me. And then I just like sat and I like pressed play. I don't know. I'm just tracking this like mental progression in my brain. That's just insane. And then I watched like 10 minutes, and I was like, "This is physically painful. I am cringing at Ruby because Ruby has a very specific voice, and we're not tuned in with the voice of Ruby. It's awful." I remember starting the show like the first minute and just being like, it being this very portentous, awful lore monologue, and just being like, "Oh, I hate this," turning it off.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, and then I watched a little bit more, and then I kept watching, and then I was like, and then I suddenly was like, "Oh, let's start the next episode," and then I was plugged in again. It had just the switch flipped in my brain, and it wasn't physically painful to watch anymore. And then I kept going.
Oh.
And then I watched the whole season in a day.
This is the worst bag of Doritos ever.
And I watched about half of season 7.
Oh, jeez.
So
how many seasons are there now?
8.
Yeah, they're on 8.
Okay.
Yep. So the thing with Ruby is that probably more than any other piece of media except maybe Fire Emblem, I tie this one to my bad relationship, Diana.
Yeah.
To my bad ex-wife that I don't like.
No, she's terrible.
Because she was fucking obsessed with this show. And she shanghaied me into watching it. And she would watch things over and over and over that she liked, so she watched this show over and over and over, and I would be in the room, and I absorbed the first 4 volumes of the show probably 5 or 6 times over.
Oh, I can't stand that shit, man.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe I should not feel bad about being mean, but this feels like a thing that like little kids usually do.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah,
I just want to watch
weird.
So weird.
Go ahead.
Watch 30 times.
Yeah,
that's what kids do.
It sounds a little weird, to be honest.
I mean, there are people that do that. I'm not going to judge. It's just like, it certainly wasn't what I wanted to be doing.
Because it's come up before with like Howl's Moving Castle, where it's just like these pieces of media that she just
destroyed for me.
Ever. Like just on loop.
When Harry Met Sally, Princess Bride. But the thing is that we would talk about it endlessly talk about Ruby, and like think really hard about the show that really does not need to be thought about.
No, there's
all.
no thought needed here.
And I would be intensely plugged into the discourse about Ruby online. I'd be talking about, here's why people are angry that they haven't had queer characters yet. And here's backstage drama to do with the creator passing away and rights and how his partner didn't receive the XYZ and Rooster Teeth is shitty and they've got this voice actor and it sucks and all this.
To be fair,
it sucks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting any of that.
Sure.
It's real, but it's not worth engaging the level of intensity with which I was engaging with Ruby moment to moment because I was trying to be a good partner and friend was over the top. And to the point, like watching the new episodes as they came out, volume 4 and 5, it was so much Ruby. That's so much, way too much to think about Ruby. So I didn't think about it for 3 years, except when it came up, I would be like, fuck that show. I hate Ruby.
Yeah.
And nobody would argue with me because I think the only people that engaged in our circle were Taylor and Iffy.
Yeah.
And not to the point of like wanting to defend it.
No, like they've always been very cool about it.
Yeah.
I think they know that it's like, it's kind of trashy, but you're allowed to enjoy trash.
Yeah. So I was probably like 2 or 3 episodes in and I was just like, this isn't that bad.
High praise.
Like literally, like I just built it up because of my awful real world experience with it. I had built it up in my head as being this awful thing. Oh god, the Ruby Chibi spinoff that's just like cute slice of life shenanigans. God. We looped that too. I knew all those jokes. It's fine. And I'm just watching it. I'm like, this isn't that bad. I've watched worse TV. I watched worse TV recently. This is just and I watched and then I got through the back half and there was like an extremely good part where I'm just gonna kind of give a broad overview here, but there's a character, Blake, with an abusive, evil ex-boyfriend, who sucks, and in volume 3, he cut off Yang's arm, who Blake and Yang had a strong connection. They were close friends, and also attacked her and tried to kill her. And it was very traumatic. And both characters kind of spent like a whole season kind of reeling from that trauma. And he comes back in the 5th season and it's really scary. And then he comes back in this season. And in the climax, they just have a big, really cathartic fight scene where these 2 girlfriends fucking fight the one of their evil, abusive ex that was awful to both of them. Mm-hmm. And it completely lands it really, really hard. Just making it completely cathartic and awesome. And I was just like, oh, fuck. This isn't like, I'm not saying like this is good writing. I'm saying that this is the kind of bad writing where like they don't have it all planned out. They don't have all the character threads really moving the way they need them to, but they know enough to make a couple moments like each season really land.
Yeah.
Like Ren and Nora's season and whole set piece in season 4, I remember being really moving. And then a bunch of big moments at the end of season 5, I still remember, even though I didn't rewatch that one, and we only watched that one once, thankfully. And then this bit, and then a couple bits after that with the main character. And I'm like, oh, this part is good. There is good parts here. This is better than Devil May Cry 2. So like the thing about this show is that it's you can't disconnect it from having started off as like a person just wanting to make cool fight scenes.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, which is what it was. It was Montium had made a bunch of cool fight scenes. I didn't watch any of those. I just came into it expecting a TV show, and then when it was just cool fight scenes and then no drama or story, I was no drama or story, but still a lot of talking and expositing.
Like, I think, the only thing I've seen that dude animate was, I think he did a really elaborate episode of Red versus Blue that I watched way back in the day.
I'm sure it's awesome.
It was very good. It was a very good fight scene.
Yeah. It's cool choreography. I don't know if it's good animation, but it's good
choreography.
If that makes sense.
It's good pacing, good choreography, and there's something to be said about being able to kind of time that kind of thing out.
Yeah, exactly. It's good, and there's cool shit there. So I think what those first volumes really offered was a certain vibe, which is just cute hot topic OCs with really dumb weapons having really dumb fight scenes,
and that's fine.
and that's really cute. And then Volume 3 happened, and then they were like, okay, we're going to make this into a real TV show. And then they just did, and it was cool, and it was good, because it was the start of an actual story.
Yeah.
And then they kind of continued from there, and it was fine. They don't have the writing chops to make this kind of thing really good, and they're also still dealing with a lot of bullshit from before the show went from the show's inception. That there are too many characters, that the magic system is really over designed. It doesn't make sense. A whole big part of this show is that there's real magic that gets introduced in season 3 or 4. Oh shit, there's real magic, but everyone has a special X-Men power. Everyone can use equipable magic dust that lets them do magic.
There's
magic spells. They all have magic shields.
There's too many fucking rules.
There's so many rules. It's completely over-designed.
I thought John loved rules in Fate.
No, it's... Fate does rules really well.
I only like rules and perceptions of the dead.
So Ruby has... It's obviously trying to be like Harry Potter or Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
It's trying to be that kind of fun shonen fantasy thing.
I just had a horrible thought. You're trying to be Avatar and you're ending up as Korra.
It's better than Korra. That's another thing I will say. I think this show is a lot more... It's more joyful than Korra, and I think it has more actual... It lands more actual dramatic beats than Korra does.
Korra's another one of those things I bet Anna drove into the ground.
And it absolutely drove that one into the ground.
That makes sense.
I watched it all once and had a perfectly fine time.
Okay, I think it sucks.
There we go.
I also fucking love Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I think Korra definitely has that written as it was going along vibe, because they always thought it might be the final season, so they never really set anything up, and that really hurt by the end.
I feel like I've completed my relationship with Korra, and it has completed with me hating it.
Yeah, that's probably not going to change.
Come on.
What?
Season 3 was good.
Season 3 is pretty good. Yeah, I guess. It's still not as good as the original show.
Fair.
Season 3 is pretty good. That's good. Yeah, fair. Absolutely fair. Volume 3 and this is real good. So I'm just reaching an impasse here where I'm just I like engaging with this specific kind of pop art of this kind of teens media. Mm-hmm. I feel like I got a big chunk of that watching 100 episodes of Sword Art Online. I feel like I've read a lot of fantasy books that have been kind of like that lately. It's something that I resonate with, and I like seeing different spins on it and then picking out the pieces that I don't like and picking out the pieces that I do like. It's almost academically interesting to me at this point.
Okay.
And it feels really nice to take this thing that was painful for me, which review is painful for me.
I think that's the big takeaway.
That's the best part, is being able to recontextualize an awful, something that was an awful experience and turning it into something positive for yourself. I think that there's absolutely something to celebrate there.
Yeah, I feel like I've reclaimed this thing that I devoted way too much emotional energy into. And that feels really good.
Let's have a big deep think session about fucking Ruby. God,
so hard about all the different character arcs. About let's like diagram out. Here was Weiss's journey over Volume 4. Here's this Yang's journey over Volume 4.
I don't even do this for things that I like.
I mean, either. I just watch it and then I'm like, that was good. I liked Higurashi.
I liked it. It's good. Yeah, like I didn't like. Yeah, sure. I might have had a couple of 3 to 4 hour podcasts about it, but that's about as far as.
I may have read all of Arc 2 of Higurashi and then watched all of it on your stream.
Yeah, that's fine though. That's nothing. Is like that. There's still meat to that at least. Like it's not fucking Ruby where we're like. Look, man, there's probably a lot of face value here. We can go on that as probably the main driving force behind everything that is propelling this show forward.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good face value theming going on. Like there's all that, like that stuff with Blake and Yang's relationship. You get it immediately on the first watch, and it's great. and you don't. There's nothing more than that.
Don't need to psychoanalyze this.
Girls fall in love and then fucking beat up. Do y'all care about spoilers, by the way?
I'm not going to say shit.
I'm not going to say it on the podcast. I have made a funny image I want to share with y'all later.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel very warm and happy about it. But on the other hand, I was listening to your whole segment and I was like, oh, just watching a really good show does sound nice, huh?
Yeah.
Just like art.
I watched a lot of good shows, John.
When you talked about Isaac, it was making me flashbacks.
Isaac in particular feels like a 100% counter to this, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, it made me think of A Place Further in the Universe, where it was just a nice character show.
Oh, man.
Lands, all the story beats. Oh. It's just like, hey, let's do an art. Let's do a real art here.
Yeah, let's actually do an art. Man, that fucking show's a masterpiece.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to want to counter all of this bullshit soon. Because this is also coming right off of all the Kingdom Hearts, which is sort of
right.
Similar.
It's all kind of like, it's got that same kind of Hot Topic teenager energy.
Hot Topic teenager energy. I listened to a bunch of My Chemical Romance.
Oh my God. You are literally going through a midlife crisis now.
John is de-aging.
He's literally going through a midlife crisis.
I don't know. I didn't listen to it as a kid. This is me like trying to understand as an adult.
Yeah, but you're like, you didn't listen to it as a kid, but that now you're going back though. Oh. Like you're going to show the world you're not old. You understand this.
God, is that what's happening? This podcast is just the John psychoanalyst was because I'm always like, I don't have an off switch. I'm just full bore.
And then other people look at that and they kind of throw
vulnerability.
They throw something back at you, and you might not be ready to hear that. And it might have just been a joke, but it'll stick in your craw for 3 or 4 days. John is going to be thinking about midlife crisis for the next 5 days. His next therapy meeting is going to be that.
Stupid.
You're welcome.
It's so stupid.
Friends give friends.
Fucking Ruby. Why is this show like this? Why do we connect so much with stories? Like, on some level, I feel there's a part of me that's just like the actual quality of the art sometimes is almost arbitrary because you can just choose to invest a lot of yourself into something, even if it doesn't merit it.
Right.
And if you do that,
out right now.
And if you just do that, then you can still get almost as much as you can out of like good art.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I didn't mean that as a call out. I was thinking Sword Art Online.
Okay, that's fair.
If you just choose to believe it's special, then it is.
The willpower.
God. Fuck. I'm done.
Oh,
I hope that was a satisfying follow-up to...
That was a... Man, this episode was a fucking roller coaster. We had
hurts.
God, there was so much. God, how do you write a summary for this episode? I don't know.
We're taking this one to the racetrack.
We're taking this one to the racetrack, baby.
Chat went dead.
Chat checked out 40 minutes ago, my man.
I think we had 9 viewers earlier. We're down to 4 now. So
Woo, boy, God bless them.
And I'm one of them, so...
Oh, gee, I'm one of them.
That's fucking funny.
Oh,
I deserve it. Don't worry, I know it. I get it. I hope that was fun.
This was another fantastic episode. I would love to thank everybody for joining us, both live and for downloading it. It always means a lot. This episode in particular, I had a fantastic time. I don't regret a single moment of this episode. I've had way more laughs this one episode than I have laughed in the last 2 weeks. So I'm definitely I'm in a much better mood. Life is good. We hope that it's good to you and yours as well.
I'm excited to watch Ruby.
Yeah, there you go. No, just go watch a horse girl anime and just be perpetually fucking confused.
God, life is good.
Do you think the main character of Eizouken could actually write a story in a world for horse girl anime that made sense? I think she could do it.
I think I described one that makes perfect sense.
I think John's got it. John's got it.
And they die at the end. And that's how it goes.
I want to give Asuka a shot at this, though. I think she could knock it out of the park. She could make that whole world make sense, I think.
At the very least, she would design those shoes they wear with the horseshoe kind of embedded into it.
She would have the most intricate design for that horseshoe, and it would make 100% sense why they needed them. Despite the fact that we have running shoes and they seem to work just fine.
They're running very fast and powerful. They're tearing up the turf.
Okay, their legs are so powerful that if they ran at full force in normal shoes, they'd break their feet every time. So they got to have these absorbers on the bottoms of their shoes that take up the impact for them so they don't break their feet. Yeah. There you go.
All right, so
where they just try to make everything make sense.
Yeah.
Do real world horses poop while mid race, or do they only do it when they're just chilling?
They shoot them if they do.
Oh no! Oh no! God, don't name your horse Leaky Bowels. Jesus.
The horses poop mid race.
I've got to know. Do they, John? Do horses poop mid race?
Kentucky Derby jockey gets crapped on mid-race,
yes!
Still wins!
Yes! This episode could not have ended.
Hockey players lose teeth daily. Basketball players tear their ACLs, but only for jockeys is poop on the face a workplace hazard.
Oh my god!
Fantastic.
Why hasn't this been a part of the horse anime?
Yeah, I think that by leaving out pooping on the track, they're really not dedicating themselves to the fucking idea. Oh my god, this has been an episode.
Yeah, wait, I'm posting my funny image. I'm posting my funny image that I wanted to share with y'all.
This
from this Volume 6 climax.
Is going to be an episode. Oh my god. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. All right. So, okay, everybody. This was a good episode. We love you all. John Thayer, could you let the folks on the internets know where they can find you if they want to find out what you would do with the horse racing anime?
Farawaytimes.itch.io, and I made some blog posts. I wrote about Amori, and I wrote about some projects I'm in the middle of, and I'm hopefully going to be releasing something in the next 3 months or so.
Man, fucking-tastic. I'm stoked. Ret!
I had a line here I wanted to drop, and I'm laughing too much at that stupid image John just posted.
Now do it!
Just a reminder that I've watched a lot of anime, including all the ones Polly's been gushing about lately, and Symphogear is still my favorite.
I definitely have to watch it now. I have to know how Symphogear stacks up against Sword Art Online and Ruby.
I'm like, is this where this is all going when you talk about edgy hot topic tween stuff and the final crown in that?
I am training my soul to like Symphogear.
Aww. Just takes a little more.
I'm building there. I'm getting there.
We gotta get John special shoes so he can watch Symphogear. Is all.
When he talked about Honkai playing a cool rock song in action, I'm like, yes, and then you watch Symphogear is the light path, and you took the dark path.
To be fair, I think the Dark Path was way more entertaining podcast wise.
It always is.
I mean, it's always like this show thrives on us making bad decisions, I think.
And this wasn't an evil bad decision either.
It wasn't. It was just
off the wall one.
Yeah, it was off the wall. It was just like, yeah, we're gonna trash dive into bad media, but it's not like evil bad media this time.
I know.
And there was you had a good story at the end. Yeah, you overcame some things. You grew as a person. Feels good. Rhett, where can they find you?
Watching Symphogear, crunchyroll.com/Symphogear.
And hey, Ryukishi7 will be making a return to my Twitch channel this week. I'll let you ponder whatever that might mean.
We're reading Higanbana.
There you go. So,
excellent.
Until another 2 weeks or so roll by, we will catch you later. But remember, in the meantime, that we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you. And I'm just going to send everybody over to Retro Games Live. They're about to finish up. Retrothon. So go say hi to some of my friends. They're playing video games. They've been playing them for 8 days. Sometimes you just want to play video games for 8 days. They've been playing 8 games for video games over there for 8 days, celebrating retro games from like the 80s all the way up to the mid 2000s. So I think they're ending on a Metroid and Mario block. So
nice.
We will catch you all next time, and I will see you at Monday or Tuesday this week for some fun stuff. Y'all have a good one.